it's been established that when a party is in opposition, the party picks its presidential candidate 2 years to the election. But it does appear that this is an extra year gap or an extra year for whoever the candidate will be to prepare for the election. That decision, be that as it may have to be endorsed by conference, which will be held later in the month of July, before we can say that that is a decision of the MPP as a whole. But for now, that's what the National Council of the party has decided. That is a decision of the National Council, but it is not without controversy. Many in the party think that this is a move to prepare the grounds for a particular candidate to win. Indeed, persons like Boakye Jaako, who we know have expressed some interest in running again for the flag bearer spot of the party, are not happy. A few others who have not really said they are going to run, like Patrick Boama and co., appear not happy also with the decision. They feel, indeed, Boakye Jaako says this is a strategic suicide for the party, and he even questions how you could put the roof on a building before laying the foundation. What he meant by that is this is a top to bottom approach, when in the past it's been a bottom to top approach. It means that you elect your flag bearer first this time before you go ahead to elect your constituency executives, branch executives or polling station executives, constituency executives, regional executives, national executives. The top to the bottom. When in the past, it's started from the grassroots, constituency, regional, national executives before the flag bearer election is held. This is in complete opposite. It's a complete opposite of what we've known in the past. How will it help the MPP or otherwise? We will see at the end of 2028 if this decision by National Council really is what the MPP needs. So time, they say, the vindication, they say, lies in the womb of time. We'll look at all the various angles to this this morning. Also, the Electoral Commission has been speaking about election 2024. Key amongst that is Abum North parliamentary election. Abum North people voted, but they still do not have a parliamentary, an MP. The matters have been that some of the collation sheets or polling station sheets that we call the pink sheets were missing, and the EC appears to be relying on some scanned sheets, pink sheets, and the NDC says they will have none of that. Two solutions have been proposed. One, to either rerun the elections in the specific polling stations or just go ahead and declare it, and whoever has a problem should go to court. The Electoral Commission has ruled out rerunning the polls. They say they need security to finish the collation and declare a winner. Interestingly, when you go into the constituency, you see both camps, the NDC candidate and the MPP candidate, both thanking the people for victory. The Electoral Commission will have the final say on that. Like I said, the show is live and interactive, 020-444-7033 or 0549-986-996, and I'll be happy to share your views with the rest of the world. I'll take a short break. When I return, I provide some updates, introduce my guests, and we get a discussion underway. This is The Big Issue. You're welcome.
This June, the business wave is back and it's bigger than ever. The City Business Festival 2025 on City FM and Channel 1 TV, where it's all about business. This June, we will be celebrating Ghanaian businesses, re-examining our business modules and practices through our business forum, and sharing knowledge through our on-air business discussions. Make a business date with the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 City FM and 10 a.m. on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. From expert interviews to real-world insights to the tools you need to grow. Don't miss a single moment this June. It's the City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. Only on City FM and Channel 1 TV. Your business, your future, your time is now. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's grow together. The City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business.
The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
Yeah, welcome back. This is The Big Issue on 97.3 City FM, also on Channel 1 television. My name is Selom Adonu. Two key issues we want to look at this morning. MPP decides on early presidential primaries. We'll look at the key issues. The party says that they need enough time after the primaries to foster or engender party cohesion, at least according to the national chairman of the party, Henry Nana Boakye. Others have said that this is strategic suicide, according to Boakye Ejaku. They feel that the usual way of doing it, electing the grassroots leadership, constituency, regional, national executive before electing a flag bearer should be the way to go. What National Council is decided this time is for the flag bearer to be elected first. Then we have the other constituency and regional and national executives elected. They call it the top to bottom approach, when in the past it's been bottom to top approach. Boakye Ejaku questions how you can put a roof on a building before building the foundation. But they say it's all geared towards wrestling power from the NDC in 2028. Let's see how this pans out in 2028. If it works out well, they win the election, then it means that it was a good decision by National Council. But that decision will have to be endorsed by the conference of the party later in July. Also, we'll look at the Electoral Commission's account for election 2024, specifically what's happening at Abum North constituency. That constituency voted, but they do not have an MP in Parliament because there's been some issues with the coalition. Some pink sheets cannot be found, originals cannot be found. The EC only has some scanned pink sheets from the MPP, and the NDC says that they cannot use those for the coalition. The NDC wants a rerun in some specific polling stations. The EC says no. Once their presiding officers have validated the pink sheet figures or results, the scanned pink sheet results, they are good to go. Now they need security to declare the results or to finish the coalition and declare the results. They say the matter was directed at the IGP. The IGP or the police also say they have referred the matter to the Attorney General for advice. The advice from the Attorney General, they say, hasn't come yet, and that is where we are. But before I introduce my guest here this morning, the New Patriotic Party has officially set January 31, 2026 as a date for its presidential primaries, marking a significant shift in its internal election strategy, following recommendations from its constitutional review process.
The NPP's National Council adopted a proposal from its Constitution Review Committee to bring forward the date of the presidential primaries earlier than in previous election cycles. General Secretary Justin Frimpong confirmed the new timeline, stressing that the decision falls squarely within the National Council's mandate and will not require approval from the National Delegates Conference.
In light of the spirit and letter of Article 13 of the NPP Constitution, that power is clothed with National Council to make that decision. And National Council today also made the decision that the date for our presidential primaries is set for January 31st, 2026.
This move departs from the party's tradition of completing internal elections at all levels before selecting a flag bearer. Party sources say the shift formed parts of reforms under consideration in the wake of the NPP's 2024 election defeat. The adjustment to the election calendar was reportedly among the most debated proposals during internal consultations. Ahead of the July 2025 National Delegates Conference, the party has constituted a 9-member planning committee chaired by former Bekwai MP Joseph Osei-Owusu. The committee is tasked with organizing this conference, where delegates are expected to consider and possibly adopt additional constitutional amendments.
A committee, or what we refer to as a planning committee, has been put in place by National Council to prepare and also implement directive that has been given to them for us to have a successful delegate conference to amend our constitution, the provision that has to be amended. And chairman for the committee is Honorable Joseph Osei-Owusu, former member of parliament for Bekwai.
All right, so that was a report put together by the news team. Now, today's my guest list for today, we have Professor Titus Bayu, Member of Parliament for the Lambusi constituency, and also board chair for the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Yeah.
He's well known in the medical circles, former General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association. He's done a few works before on TV and things, but he's Professor Titus Bayu. Dennis Miracle Sabuaji, Director of Communications for the 2024 Baumia campaign team, will also be joined by Dr. Palgrave Boachidankwa of the Kennedy-Japan Communications team, and Dr. Arthur Kennedy is a former MPP presidential candidate. Franklin Kujo, President Imani Africa, will also be on the show. So this is my guest for today. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the program. Titus, I start off with you. I mean, first time in Parliament, first 6 months. How is the feeling? Was this what you expected?
All right, good morning. And then good morning to the viewers and listeners. And let me say a very good morning to the good people of Lambusi for giving me the opportunity to be in Parliament. I would say it's exciting. It's interesting for me. I mean, a few things not as I expected.
Like
but,
what?
Like the very, let me choose my words well, say, for giving me the opportunity to be in Parliament. I would say it's exciting. It's, I mean, if you expected, words that as a friend of the committee, and when it happened, I was very not pleased with it. In fact, it came to me as a shock and a surprise. I didn't expect that from my very senior colleagues in Parliament. And I was like, ooh, I mean, if my kids are still awake and they see me, I mean, imagine I'm involved in this. You know, so I was trying to position myself not to be even on any of the,
not to be captured by the cameras.
By the cameras, just sitting somewhere and observing everything that was taking place. So that was a shocker for me. I didn't expect that at this level. And also,
but, I mean, in the previous Parliament, we saw, should I say, worse things even on the floor on the day of inauguration.
Yeah.
So that should have given you an idea that, I mean, things like that could happen.
Yeah, you know, when it is got to do with elections, you know, that's different. I mean, I've gone through elections and I know that elections you have to get it right on the spot. Remedies are very difficult after the decisions are made, very expensive. So people will do everything to get it right at the very first start. But on just interviewing someone, we would interview you, we will not interview you. I didn't expect that. Aside that, I think generally it's been worth the while. Very exciting, making very good friends, networks from both sides. We are building very good relationships. And the two committees I am on, I think the most exciting for me is the subsidiary legislation committee.
Okay.
I have no legal background, but I'm enjoying the work we are doing, having to review various legislative instruments, regulations on acts that have been passed already, and going through the actual lawmaking process. I see that as very exciting, and looking at the potential impact they can have. So we have done some on environmental protection, we've done some on corporate insolvency and other acts of parliament that have been passed. So working on that has been very, very exciting and revealing. And above all, the opportunity to represent your people, to make some impact. Coming from my background in the medical field and in medical education, I've already made 2 statements on the floor of parliament on the medical emergencies, pre-hospital emergency care in the country, and the contributions and fallout has been good. Shortly after that statement, we had this disaster, well, I call it, let me say, the unfortunate incident at Instructor Mine, and how the response was. It further depicted the need for our pre-hospital emergency care and preparations. I've also had to contribute a lot to the tramadol and opioid abuse. We made a statement there that got the minister to come to the house to come and brief the nation. So I think I'm making the impact that is needed.
So which other committee apart from are you on the health committee?
I'm on the health committee. I'm on the health committee. That is naturally expected. And it's good. We just yesterday we visited the FDA. As we have oversight responsibility for them to see what they are doing, see what the challenges are, what can make them do better. And you know that they play a critical role, especially in this opioid crisis that we find ourselves as a lead regulator, ensuring what comes into the country and what doesn't come as far as medicines and medicinal products and medical devices are concerned. So, I mean, we are making little impact there that eventually would impact the nation as a whole.
So how about your constituents? I mean, so you have to be going to the constituencies weekly, twice a month. You know, how's that?
So I mean, I go very frequently. At the barest minimum, I go once in a month. But in some months, I go twice or even more. Of course, I'm from a very distant constituency. Lambuse is from I'm like Alpha and Omega. We in Accra, we are by the sea, and Lambuse Bodesu, Burkina Faso. So, but I go as frequently as my parliamentary duties will permit me. And the constituency is looking good. We've had a few disasters here and there, some rainstorm that caused some significant destruction to schools and individual homes in the constituency. But aside that, we are doing what we are supposed to be doing. We've gotten our DC elected. He's beginning to work. I have started a lot of interventions. I started a scholarship scheme before even coming to parliament, and we are committed to continuing that. We are making impact in the health space, trying to get more doctors in. We have 2 now. I'm preparing one of the doctors there to go and specialize in the area that I specialize in myself. I'm a gynecologist, so that at least we can reproduce yourself back in the constituency. So we are pushing here and there, education-wise, infrastructure, agric, and all of that. I mean, we used to say that Lambuse is the only constituency or district without an inch of tarred road. That narrative has since changed. I can't take credit fully for it. It's governance is continuum. Others have worked, and we've come to continue to lobby. We now have some 13 kilometers here, 12 kilometers there of tarred road. We are hoping that we'll get more to improve the place in general.
I see. Great. I mean, that's fine. Yes. So the nurses strike thing, just before we get into the matter.
Yes.
I mean, strike came for about 10 days or so.
Yeah.
Nurses were not working. A few people died. Very unfortunate. What's your thinking around that? That's your area. And Kolebu nurses and all of those were involved, board chairman and all.
So when I speak on the nurses strike, it's I come from multiple angles. First, as a known union leader in this country, I have led the Ghana Medical Association as its general secretary, rose through various ranks to the office of the general secretary. And I know what will cause a labor union to do what they did. But also as a healthcare practitioner, I know the impact of strike and the negative consequences it can have. And now, as a board chair of Kolebu, I can tell you that we lost significant revenue during the time, apart from the potential challenges it will have on life. You wouldn't feel the loss of life because they probably would not have been in hospital for you to see that they have died. So if you ask Kolebu to quantify how many people we lost during that period, we don't have any data on that. Obviously, because the persons would not have come to the hospital for that to happen. We do hope that no life was lost in the process, though painfully it is possible that some lives were lost. But at the hospital end, we saw the significant reduction in revenue and patient load and all of that, which is very bad. But I would say that strikes are one of the means by which labor can make demands or protest for improved conditions of service. But when used whimsically and then it's no good. In the case, this particular instance, the nurses had a very genuine case to demand what they were demanding for, but I felt the strike was a bit premature, considering that government was talking. You know, normally, I mean, in the union, we will go on strike if your employer is refusing to talk. Or
But they were talking about, there was nothing on the table.
No, so I think they were making some progress, but maybe they felt the progress was slow. But you see, you have to look at it in terms of the context, what is happening nationally and the economy and all of that. So having had about 6 meetings and then suddenly a strike comes, that is unexpected. Secondly, the other aspect of the strike that wasn't good was the fact that it escalated quickly to total withdrawal of services. In the health sector, normally the intention of strike is not to punish the patient. It is to force the employer to talk. And therefore, you would maybe threaten with a red armband, you withdraw part of the service that's not so essential, like outpatient services. And then painfully, you may do emergencies when you know that the employer is putting in contingency. But in this case, they went quickly through to people abandoning the hospitals totally, meaning even inpatients were struggling to be cared for. I have never seen that kind of strike in all my years as a labor leader. So that is regrettable. But on the other side was that commentary around the strike was not helpful. And I would advise all persons, political persons, communicators, that when these things happen, let's be mindful of our commentary. It makes negotiations very difficult. People try to impugn political motives into the strike, trying to think that the nurses didn't have a mind of their own. They could just get up and, I mean, no one will reason that way. So you have to understand both sides. So it was good that the Parliamentary Select Committee stepped in, and I thank our leader, Dr. Ket Nawani, and the ranking, Dr. Ayu, and importantly, the Minister of Health. He also played a critical role in resolving it. And going forward, we hope that whatever the issues are, we can sit and talk rather than get to this point where we go on a strike.
Very well.
Yeah.
Nice. Pargrave, Dr. Pargrave Boachi Dankwa, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Salom.
Yes, you may want to speak up a bit so that we can hear you. Good to have you. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to have you as well, Salom. And
congratulations on your PhD. These days, that GTech is all over the place.
Well, thank you. But I finished my PhD 2 years ago.
Nice one.
But thank you very much.
Nice
thank
one.
you, Salom.
Great. So yes, just hitting it straight. Your party, the MPP National Council, I mean, is made a decision, and generally, what is your view, or what in your view went into this particular decision to hold an early presidential primary? You call it a top to bottom approach. What in your view was the National Council looking at before it made this decision? Of course, National Council, I'm sure, wishes the party well, and like, I don't think they will do anything to jeopardize the efforts and the chances of the party. So surely there should be some consideration in there. What do you think went into the decision to hold early presidential primaries this time around?
Salam, a very good morning to you again, and to greet the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party, and to wish our chairman in team a speedy recovery. Yes, so over the week, the National Executive Council met and took a decision that they would want us to have an early Congress. And I think that for every political party that has lost power, the rationale would be for you to be able to quickly mobilize and ratify and make sure that you have a strong base and you have a strong leader that would be able to keep the sitting government accountable and also prepare as the government in waiting. And so that primarily for me would be the immediate reason why the National Executive Council has decided to do an early Congress. In terms of my view of top to bottom, I have had a lot of calls from the grassroots of the party who are delegates who have stated very clearly that this is a very unpopular decision, and that if we go by the Michael Quay Committee report, which suggests that we should open the base and open the electoral college, then it is important that when these resolutions are accepted in the upcoming extra delegate Congress, July 19th, then it will be key for us to ratify all those expansions in terms of expansions of allowing former MMDCs, former MPs, former CEOs, former deputy CEOs, former ministers, former deputy ministers, all the way from President Kufuor Steiner to President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo Steiner, an opportunity to also vote in terms of being delegates. And so if all of this is supposed to come to bear, we don't think that the top to bottom approach will be ideal, because we have a very short time. And I think that it is important that they reconsider that decision, allow us to have a bit more time to do the polling station, because in the executive decision, the decisions were that we're expanding the polling station from 5 people to 7 people. And so there's supposed to be a key election of all polling station executives and not an addition of the already existing 5 and adding 2 to it, because then that would mean that you are just keeping to the old album as it is. And so there are conversations to ensure that there are clear acceptance of polling station elections before we do the flag bearership election. And also suggestions that the flag bearership election to be held in January will not be too conducive, because you need to give ample time for all prospective flag bearers who are seeking to lead a party to tour around the length and breadth of the country, speak to various delegates from the constituency level to the polling station level to the regional level. And so if we are able to do it in the second quarter, I think that would give everybody an ample time and an equal playing field for everyone.
I see. Just hang in there. Let me take the views of your colleague and friend, Miracles. Miracles, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Great. So the party experimenting with this, I think, for the first time, electing a flag bearer first before going ahead to do the other elections. Not everybody is happy with it. But what, again, the same question, in your view, led the National Council to come to this decision?
I mean, thank you, and good morning to my senior brother. I think that it is in the interest of the party, and anybody that really has the MPP at heart actually supports this idea. I think we are reducing the bigger picture to individual interest. The decision by the National Council is looking at the bigger picture. The few disagreements are more hinged on individual interest, and that's a problem, because you are unable to sacrifice the greater good for a few. You see,
but can we
our party
divorce individual interest?
Yes, we can all the time. I mean, if you are running a group and you decide to rely on pure individual interest, you will never make progress, because our views will always differ all the time. But you see, the party finds itself in a very extraordinary moment, and I'll take just a little time to explain to you. We've come out of a very difficult elections. Until now, the 2016 loss of the MDC was seen as the biggest margin. Now, this is the new record. We need to do extraordinary things in the face of an extraordinary situation. What do? You first of all have to do a quick calibration of your situation. which we did through the Michael Quay committee. Now, one of the things Michael Quay's committee throws up is there's a lot of disjoint and disunity in our party at the base. So the National Council, the national executives had to find out what was causing it. What clearly came out was that at the base, the party people have been redirected to focus on the presidential contest, the presidential primaries. So I'll use a quick scenario. You have 5 polling station executives in this polling station here in this area. 1 supports Brian Champo, 1 supports Kennedy Japon, 1 supports Educhum, 2 are supporting Dr. Baumia. Now, what is happening is that the only vacancy we have in our party now is the presidential candidate. That's the only vacancy. There's no other vacancy in our party. And so these people have managed to redirect the energies of the polling station executives towards that future contest. Because everybody is mobilizing to get people to support them when it is due. Today, if you ask the polling station executives in this polling station to call for a meeting, it won't happen. The chairman who is supposed to work with the secretary to convene the meeting, they belong to different individuals who are aspiring to be president. And so if the chairman says, let's call for a meeting, the secretary is suspicious that he's calling a particular meeting to skew the narratives towards his candidate. The secretary also decides to do that. The chairman is suspicious. Our party people are unable to come together to work at the polling station. It's not a new phenomenon. It's an existing phenomenon in our party that as long as there is a gap or a vacancy in our leadership, our party continues to battle out, because everybody feels that I have a possibility of winning. That possibility is there so long as the contest has not been held. But in MPP, so long as the contest is done and concluded, they all come together all the time. In fact, even if you don't see everybody coming together, you at least see people pretending to be cooperating. And that is all you need in a political party. There is no party that doesn't have this situation. Even in the NDC today, that situation is there. Everybody working with President Mahama, but you have people still having their individual, thing. It's normal. It's with every political party. So the National Council's deliberation was that, and I happened to find myself in the meeting, was that, how do we deal with this? There's an argument that, why don't you focus on reorganizing your party, remobilizing the party? I said, okay, let's do that. But you realize that for 6 months, that has not been successful. And the reason why that has not been successful is because you cannot organize the base when they are not united.
Yeah, but this has also been successful because you said the Professor Michael Quay committee was working. It should finish its work, see the report before we know the steps to take. It took them quite a bit, about 3 months or so. Yes. They finished around March, April, before we saw the meetings and the thank you tour started. So one would think that reorganizing the party will mean that you start.
No, you are wrong. You see, reorganization of the party's organization are about elections. Police station executives are not election machines. They are not created to come and vote. Voting is just
they are to mobilize.
Voting is just one aspect of it. The core mandate of the polling station executives and the branch executives of the parties is to mobilize. But the point I am making, which is a very important point you shouldn't lose sight of, is that the guys cannot mobilize, and they are not mobilizing because at the moment they are pursuing a different agenda. So you have to deal with that. In dealing with that, what do? You have 2 options. So I beg you guys, can you just put this aside so that we can focus and concentrate and do what we have to do? It's not working. In fact, it has never worked. It has never worked. Never. So what do? You must cure that quickly. Deal with that, because immediately you deal with that, all the individuals who are aspiring and are using their resources to mobilize for themselves instead of for the party, they will stop, because there's nothing else to aspire to. They will stop. Then it will give the party an opportunity to now properly mobilize and organize, because at that point you have to show up, you have to contribute. And there's something in the MPP, you know that if you don't show up and contribute, somebody will come and take your place. So they will all show up and contribute. So the National Council has actually taken the right decision for the party. In doing that, let me tell you, even initially, the motion that was moved, and there was a 2-hour debate on this. So nobody should also make it look like National Council is lost some five people. National Council is a very, very, very big body. Big, very, very big body with a huge membership. If you have time, I can take you through it. It is very, very well represented. The initial motion was for the election to be held in December. Any other person that is looking at the bigger picture, we even recommend for August or September. Because that is your biggest undoing right now. Deal with it.
August or September of this year.
Yeah, any other person. Because that is the biggest problem you are facing right now. Deal with it. You understand? Let me tell you, why am I on the same show with Palgrave today? It is because of internal elections. You understand? About a week ago, I declined a debate with one other person because I didn't know why two MPP people are on the show debating themselves when I should be debating you. You understand? And so that is going to continue till whenever we do our presidential elections. So if you decide to do it 2026 December, that's your business. It's your loss. If you decide to do it 2027, that's your loss. The only argument against it is that, give the candidates time to campaign. That's where my issue comes in. So because of your search for so-called ample time to campaign, the parties should suffer. Now, what is ample time? 1 year? 2 years? 3 years? 4 years? Even in the space of arguing for ample time, who is at an advantage and who is at a disadvantage? When the announcement is made at the same time for everybody to start. Why should it be a problem for somebody and not a problem for the other? If we are going for a race, we start from the same line and you must all finish at a certain point. So nobody is really advantaged or disadvantaged.
How about thinking that the present system favors one candidate? For example, favors Dr. Baumia because he has been the candidate and so he is known by the grassroots now. It's easier for him to touch base with them. They know his message, they know who he is. The others who are new in the race, like Brani Champon, etc., will now have to touch base with them, will now have to sell their message to them, show them that they can do it, and that requires time.
Anybody that believes in this your argument and supports it and is still insisting on leading this party into the 2028 elections against the NDC doesn't love the MPP. You know why? Because if you believe in this political model that, this is an incumbent, he sold himself, they know his message, so it's easy for him, then why are you contesting him? Why don't you then allow him to run for the general elections?
Because in the absence, he's known, they like his message in the absence of alternatives.
Ghanaians know the message of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. They have seen him, they've heard him, he's moved around, he's likely, if he becomes a leader, run against a new candidate of the NDC. I am saying that if you're a believer in this argument, and you still want to run against Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, then you are a big contradiction. Because you are raising a political model which you believe in. You believe in the fact that a candidate that has run and is an incumbent has an advantage over you. His name is known. His message is known. So he has an advantage over you. So they should give you time to catch up. Now, you want to now contest that same candidate who is saying that I am known. My message is known by everybody across the country. The NDC is likely to bring a new candidate. So allow me to run to give our party. Allow me to run to give our party the biggest advantage. And you're running against him.
But that message was rejected.
No, which message was rejected?
I mean, known by the people.
No. He's only run for president once.
Yeah, but he sold the message to the people.
He's run for president once.
Yes.
Once. So that message is actually now coming in the second term. That message
but he sold the message for the
which
first
message?
Time. No, the message, what you wanted to do.
No, he's run before.
Yes.
We are saying that you are saying that he's talking about you have run before. And so let's give the others time to also catch up. And I'm saying that argument works even bigger for him in the general elections.
All right.
No, but let me wrap up. So really, when you start a contest from the get-go by everybody, nobody has an advantage. And nobody has been able to point out the so-called system that benefits Dr. Baumia. I'll tell you what, the acting chairman who chairs the National Council, everybody knows his relationship with the other candidates.
Who is the acting chairman?
The Chairman Bute. Everybody knows. It's public knowledge in our party. How is he anything connected to Dr. Baumia? Everybody knows. At all, everybody knows. And you see, the thing about politics is that your affiliation and alignment are not mysteries. They are not secrets. You understand? Everybody knows. So how does it in any way favor anybody? For me, I think it's just defeatist. It's just defeatist chorus when those things come up. But let's not even go into that. My point is that the National Council has taken a good decision which is based on facts and things happening on the ground.
And the party should rally around it.
And we should just, because the National Council is the second highest decision-making body. And then finally, Salom, there is nothing like a top-down approach. That has not been done. The National Council is not doing any top-down approach. This whole top-down approach thing, again, started from a few individuals, and nobody has even calibrated it. Our constitution is clear. Whenever we are going to have a presidential elections, these are the people who are supposed to vote at any time.
Very well.
Whenever, please, whenever. In this current situation, our presidential candidate election will be held on 31st January 2026. By that time, do we have in place the people who are supposed to vote? If we don't, we will vote. What has been happening over the period is that by the time the date for the presidential candidate is set, police station executive tender would have expired. Constituency executive tender would have expired. Regional executive tender would have been expired.
So, in this case,
so naturally,
it wouldn't
yes. So naturally, you would have to. In fact, it's not like you have to. By the time you get to the presidential candidate announcement, you would have not elected. It would have passed.
I see.
So it's not as if we go to elect police station executives just for them to come and elect presidential candidates.
Great.
That's not their job.
Great. Prof, I mean, this is not your matter. They said you fear yourself. This is not your matter. But of course, I know you are observing. You are observing keenly.
Yeah.
Just a quick thought on what's happening. Then I'll go to Paragraph, who is a major stakeholder.
So I would say that it's interesting to see what is happening. The NDC is an interested observer. We are not part of their internal politics, but whatever is happening there, we are observing it keenly for obvious reasons. It is good for us to have a good opposition, but definitely not good enough to take power. They should be there strong enough to keep us in check, but not good enough to take power. Then it's laughing, but that's the truth. And for what is happening, from an observer's point of view, there are critical questions to be asked. Very critical questions. First is that this is new, and when everything is new, you have to question it. And so no one should be surprised that
questioning it doesn't necessarily make it bad. It means they just have to convince or communicate.
Yeah, so the questioning will let us determine whether it is good or bad. So the answers to those questions, and you are asking some, what necessitated it? The answers they give may be satisfactory or not satisfactory. What was the motive? What is it intended to achieve? The reality is that we will make a proper judgment of this when we get to the end. You understand? That's when we can only know. But at now, all observers and interested parties will ask questions. And one of the first questions is, he talks about the fact that it's not about time. People are asking for adequacy of time to campaign. In an election that involves electoral college, is it only about time, or it's also about the integrity of the electoral college? Do you get me?
Integrity of the electoral college?
Yes, because
How?
Because the composition of that electoral college, if I were a candidate in this election, I'll be interested in how much time I have to campaign, but I'll be more interested in who are the delegates.
These delegates have been there already.
Good.
So like you're able to put together a new album with all its issues and all of that.
So if you have a delegates that are in existence, that someone has run an election with, and I'm a new entrant, and I didn't play a role in the composition of that delegate, I should have concerns, shouldn't I? Legitimately so, because these delegate system, are all the candidates satisfied with the delegates? We have recommendations that they should have even increased the number of delegates, right? And some of the delegate positions are by virtue of other positions you occupy. So maybe you were a district chief executive, by virtue of that. You were a government appointee, by virtue of that you were a delegate. So if you have a system like that, is it really a level playing ground for everybody? Would it give everybody a better chance if a completely new register was compiled? So there are two things. The time to campaign is there, but also the integrity of that is very important. And so when the others that are crying, if the cry is based or concern is based only on time to campaign, then I don't think they are assessing the thing holistically, because I'll be interested in, do we have, I mean, even if you wanted this very early, is it possible to have constituted a new delegate list according to your party structures so that it gives us all a level playing field?
But they have a mandate. They have a 4-year. They have a 4-year mandate, and they want to do this quickly.
Before that,
yes.
So that is a decision for them to take. But as I'm saying, for people who are coming in, if you are a new entrant, you will be worried that what is happening. How do we guarantee that this is not a replay of what happened? Because see, you use a certain electoral college to elect your leaders. You take them into an election. You didn't get the results you want. You are using the same electoral college. You are using the same principle, the same processes, and expecting a different results. That's a question they will have to answer. Do you get my point?
I see.
So, as far as we are concerned, I just want to make it clear: the NDC wish them well. We wish them well.
It should be good enough.
It wish us well, but don't wish us. Doesn't wish us.
It should be good enough to keep them on their toes. Not good enough to win power.
We wish them well, but they should just know that for us in the NDC, we know that our destiny is not in their hands. It's not in how they select their leader and who their leader becomes. Our fate in the next election is based on how we deliver on our mandate, and that is not lost on us. We will not be baited into going into a campaign mode instead of governing because they are choosing their candidate now.
Very well.
We'll focus on Ghana.
Great. You are just an interested observer, but you have to have more to say that.
He has more to say than
Dr. Kennedy is on. I'll speak to him in a bit. Also, Yao Opoku Mensah, who is with the Yao Educhum, Dr. Yao Educhum team, is also on. Dr. Yao Educhum declared his intention to run in the week, and quite a number of them. So Dr. Educhum, we know Brian Champon, we know Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, even though he's not categorically stated that he's running, but we know he will run. Boache Jakoto is in the fray, and a few others. Perhaps new names will come. We have others we are hearing rumors about, like Patrick Boama and co. We don't know if they will come up this time around, but we will see. So, Pargrive, yes, so the concern really is that this approach is in the best interest of the party, and that if the person has been taken to an election before, and we know in our history that hardly have we had anybody coming to the fray for a first time winning. Mahama came first time, he won, but of course he was president for a few months before the election proper. So his example is quite unique. But in the history, President Kufuor didn't win the first time. Professor Mills didn't win the first time. Nana himself didn't win the first time. So it is not very strange to have Dr. Bawumia losing for the first time. So what really is a concern? The National Executive or the National Council perhaps thought around all of this and realized that the person who wins will need more time to build party cohesion, etc., mobilize the base or unite the base, etc. So this should be the way to go. What's the concern really from your side?
Well, Salom. So I think that Prof clearly has taken the wind out of my mouth. You see, we went into an election and the results were not as all of us expected. I'm sure that myself and Miracles are on the same page as it relates to the fact we would have wished that we would have won the election, but we didn't. And then the National Executive Council set up a committee to be able to investigate why we lost the election. And the results of the Michael Quay report is very clear, though others might have seen copies of that, but the executive summary that was made available is very clear on reasons why we lost the elections. Majority of that, and I'll focus on it, is the fact that everybody is asking for an expansion of the delegate system. That people have stated very clearly is that over and over again, there are delegates that go to choose leaders either at the parliamentary level or even at the flag bearership level, and the level of money that is given to these delegates, it doesn't trickle down to the grassroots base, who might not necessarily even be delegates but are party supporters. These were clear findings from the Michael Quay report. Now, when we go into the extraordinary delegates conference in July, we are supposed to be accepting the resolutions of the constitution that has been amended. Now, if we accept the resolution of the constitution that has been amended, then it means that if there are expansions in terms of former appointees of government from President Kufuor's time to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's time, MMDCs, DCs, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, presidential staffers, and the like, all of that. If that is accepted that they are supposed to be part of a delegate system, then one would wish that it should be taken into consideration when we are going to choose the next flag bearer of the party. That expansion should take into consideration so that we can have integrity in the electoral college and the delegate system that we have now. It is also important. Yes, I can agree that we've lost an election. I can agree that we are not in extraordinary times. I can agree that there are various teams that are building up because of the internal contest that we have. But it's also important that you create a level playing field for everyone, because people have support base at various places where they would desire that they would become delegates. And so if we are asking clearly that, Miracle says that there's nothing like a top-bottom down approach, but we have never done our flag bearership elections first. We have always done a polling station, done a constituency base, done a regional, done a national before we select our flag bearership.
How about the argument that the guys are still in time? They have a mandate, they have a 4-year mandate. And so if you want to do the flag bearership election early, you don't truncate their tenure by holding new branch level or police station level, constituency level elections. The guys you have here are legitimate. They are within time. So they are the persons you use to elect your flag bearer. Just so the flag bearer have enough time to do what he has to do.
Salom, the good news is that the New Patriotic Party does not just want a flag bearer. The New Patriotic Party also wants a president. And so we must remember that the New Patriotic Party does not just want a flag bearer. The New Patriotic Party wants a president. Now, we use the same album system to be able to do our flag bearership election, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia became the flag bearer. We lost the election. We cannot use that same delegate system to elect a new flag bearer, because that did not produce us a president. That was clearly stated in the Mike Okoye report. And so we are suggesting that even though their tenure has not come to an end, we should make sure that the recommendations that the Mike Okoye report gives with the expansion of the delegate system should be taken into consideration. We should have all former MMDCs, all appointees from President Kufuor's time till President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's time. We should ensure that at the local base of polling station, there's been conversations that the number increases to 7. We should have an election of all polling station executives so that we can have the 7. It should not be the old 5 and then adding an extra 2 either by appointment or by election. We want a total polling station election. And really, if we are asking for this and it's to make the grassroots who are going to campaign for the flag bearer to become the president of the Republic of Ghana, I also think it is in the best interest of the political party that we all belong to. It's also important for us to note that January 31st is not too conducive, because you need to be able to ensure, if you're going to do a polling station election, you need to ensure that people are able to galvanize and mobilize at the base, at the grassroots. We are suggesting that at least by April, between March and April would be ideal. Which is also an early time, between March or April. So kill one, move it from January to March, or do it in April. That gives everybody an opportunity to ensure that they have perused the delegate system well. It gives everybody an opportunity to ensure that there is integrity of the delegate system. It gives everybody an opportunity to ensure that there is a level playing field. And you have stated it clearly. There are many people that are pulling off their head. The New Patriotic Party is a democratic party. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has declared his intention. Kennedy Akumpre Japan has declared his intention. Dr. Brian Trampo has declared his intention. Dr. Educhum has declared his intention. There are many others that are going to declare their intention, which also means that if we have more than 5, in according to the Constitution, it means that we must have a special delegate election, which is called the superdelegates election, to be able to tone down the number to 5. If we do all of that, it means that we need ample time. So it's not really just ample time to campaign, but it's ample time to ensure that the electoral processes are followed duly. And we suggest that at least by March or first week in April or in the month of April, we should be able to do this. There is no rush to elect a flag bearer who cannot become the president of the Republic of Ghana. We want to elect a flag bearer who can become the president of the Republic of Ghana.
I thought the matter of the superdelegates election also came up in the meeting, and the suggestion we are having is that will be scrapped. Would that not be up for the conference in July to decide?
Absolutely. So
if that will be scrapped,
but the Constitution...
if it's likely that will be scrapped, then that becomes a non-issue, right?
Yes, but Salom, you cannot scrap a constitutional mandate. The Constitution is very clear that if you have more than 5 people that are contesting for the leadership of the party in terms of flag bearership, you need to be able to do a super delegates congress to tone it down to 5.
The constitutional amendments,
it cannot be clear.
No, paragraph, just be clear with me. The constitutional amendments that will be presented to conference in July has a number of things. Is the superdelegates conference not part of those amendments to be made to the present constitution? So if conference accepts that these amendments be allowed, then it means that there will be no superdelegates conference. So the issue about January 31st will have to be held to sieve or to prune down the number if it goes beyond 5 wouldn't arise. If 20 people appear, 20 people will be voted on or for on the 31st, and the winner chosen, and that's it.
Salom, there's been a lot of resolutions that have been sent to the Constitutional Review Committee, and so there's been various reasons. All throughout the years, especially from President Kufuor's time, when we had about 19 people that were contesting for the primaries to lead the party. That was when the decision was made by the National Executive Council to start having a super delegates conference so that we can reduce the number. Now, until we go to the Congress in July, and until all those amendments are ratified and accepted by the Congress and the delegates, then we can be able to use that as a working document. I'm not too sure that the super delegates Congress will be scrubbed off from the Constitution, even though it's been suggested. But all of these conversations are going to be cast in stone during our delegates Congress on the 19th of July.
I see. I mean, I'll bring Dr. Kennedy, deal with him for a while, then he will take his leave. But how about the suggestion that the only vacancy in the party now is the flag bearer slot? And so because of that, everybody in the party is working towards that. So even at the very base, the polling station, at the polling station level, the executives there are split into various camps. When you deal with that vacancy, then now you can have everybody working towards a common objective. So it's important for that reason alone to even do it early so that you have that off your books and galvanize the base behind one leader and fight the NDC and possibly win the elections. How about that view?
It's not. Hello, Salom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Salom, the only vacancy is not the flag bearers. I am aware of people that are deciding to contest for chairmanship of the party. I'm aware of people that are deciding to contest for general secretary of the party.
No, but those positions,
I'm aware of people that are deciding to contest.
No, wait, those positions as we speak.
Hold on, Salom. Hold on. Let me build my point. No, hold on. There are people that are interested in contesting the national elections, from chairmanship right up to national coordinator. You will disenfranchise those people if you don't give them an opportunity. If you want to select, if you make the argument that the only vacancy in the party now is the flag bearership, you lose sight of the fact that you are wanting to create a monster at the top. If you select a flag bearer first, the flag bearer now has an opportunity to decide who becomes the chairman because of power and influence. If the person does not utilize the power and the influence well, and we have seen this in politics. We know that politics is all about power and influence. If you decide to do that, you create a monster at the top who decides who becomes the chairman, who decides who becomes the regional chairman, who decides who becomes the constituency chairman, all throughout. And we can't win an election like that, which is why we are suggesting that even though we want to do our primaries early in terms of flag bearership, let's do the polling station elections early, suggesting sometime in the third quarter of this year. Try and do the polling stations elections early, either the third quarter or the fourth quarter of this year.
So that we truncate their constitutional terms. Is that what you are suggesting? We truncate
I'm
their
not
terms.
Suggesting that.
But if you do it this year and their term will run out maybe next year, then you'd have truncated their term by some months, right?
Yes, but you see, what happens is that what happens really is that you see, Salom, you want the grassroots to be involved in the decision of selecting the flag bearer who can become the president. You see, that's all we are saying. We are in an extraordinary time. We are not in normal times. And so if we are going to open up the base from 5 to 7, and we are asking people to come and run for an election to be polling station executives, and everybody is going to stand, and it's going to be 7 people right from the scratch. In fact, it gives everybody an opportunity to know that the party considers us, because the party is for the grassroots. The party is not for the people at the top. The party is for the grassroots, and it's the grassroots that make the party, and it's the grassroots that will campaign and mobilize at the base to make sure that whoever becomes flag bearer wins the next election. We just do not want a flag bearer. We also want a president to be in this country.
I see. Let me go to Yao Poku Mensah, who is in the Educhum camp, Dr. Yao Educhum camp. Yao, I mean, like your boss. Yao, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Great. Your candidate or your hopeful, your aspirant, declared his intention to run this time. What's your camp's view about the early conference discussion?
Okay, so a good morning to yourself and to my co-panel members, and to the general public, especially the NPP family who are listening to us this morning. A warm greetings from Dr. Osei to the rank and file of the party. I followed the discussion. I just joined, but I followed the discussion. But what is important that we need to realize as party people is that once we've given people the mandate to work on our behalf, I think the onus lie on us to respect the decision that comes. Even if we have a difficulty, we should be able to use the party structures to seek for certain answers and vent out our frustration within indoors, so that the party will have the dignity and the reputation that we seek for. National Council have made a proposal that there should be an early conference in the election of our flag bearer with a specific date which has been mentioned, plus a leg of it at the polling station for an election of officers at the polling station. I'm told that the final decision will be taken at conference, of which a date has been given out. In my candid opinion, once there is another window of opportunity that we can have that discussion at that forum, I think the back and forth within the media space in seeking to address what seeks to be a family matter will not endure to anybody's benefit, and it doesn't add up to the reputation of the party. I think we need to look at the issue as it has been brought to us. If we have a difficulty, as I indicated, that we can voice it out. But again, once the party take a decision, it's a collective decision which is binding on us. And once we are members of the party that we want to be part of in a larger group with representation base, once the decision comes, we need to embrace it and look at modalities in how best we can use it to work in our interest. Even if the decision is that everybody should be part of the process, still you have another group of people within the party dissenting on that view. And that cannot be the best way in seeking to address a perceived challenge which has been thrown out. With our position, once the decision has come, no matter how we look at it or see it, once it is coming from the party, which is a collective decision, we want to take it up, work with it, and that's our leader rightly said in declaring his intention. The day for our work started on the date that he announced his intention to contest, and the date that the party brought out. So we are on the grounds. We are working towards any date that the party brings, any date that fall within the interest of the party, any date that the party collectively agrees on is what we seek to work with.
So in essence, your team or your camp has no problem with the suggestion or the proposal made by National Council. You have no problem at all.
No. We don't have any difficulty with whatever date that is suggested. And rightly said, a date has been given out, and any serious candidate within the fold, whatever date which comes out, should be a date that should be worked with in the interest of the party. Even if you extend it to 2 years, still somebody probably may say the time is too short. But we need to look at the situation as we find ourselves. We are in opposition, and we are looking at how best we can close our rank and file, energize the base, and ensure that we are able to go through this and win power for the party. And I think we don't have enough time on our hands. Whatever we can do to ensure that we are able to energize the base and ensure that we are able to frame up a system that will seek to tighten up the base, that will seek to unite the rank and file of the party is what we need to focus on. And we need ample time to be able to engage internally plus external, so that Ghanaians will accept and see the seriousness of the NPP in the 2028 elections. I don't think we have enough time and a luxury to be engaging in these debates. Let us go indoors. People who we have entrusted our authority in, sit around the table, make proposals of which we have the opportunity to add our voice. And once the collective decision has been taken, irrespective of the group that you belong to, whether be the minority, at that forum where the decision was taken. What is a party decision? I think we need to go by it, look at how best we can use it in the interest of the party, rather than deepening the cracks that is currently perceived to be within our system.
I see. So there were concerns of integrity of the electoral college raised, and time to campaign as well raised. So as far as the Luchum camp is concerned, there is no issue with the integrity of the electoral college, and time to campaign is not an issue. So everything is fine. Let's go to conference. Let conference decide that we hit the ground running. Yes or no?
So you need to look at the process in all this. National Council has made a proposal. We have another opportunity to have a larger group looking at all these proposals. So the question is, what will be the usefulness of the debate now when we have a proper forum to put out whatever we feel or think that we can add it up to make the system better? I will want to wait for that opportunity, make a presentation or
yes, Yao Poku mentions line is freezing.
Do you have me?
Yes, I have you now.
Okay, sure, thank you. So I would rather want to use the larger forum to vent out whatever I feel or think can be added to the base to ensure that we do have a clean system.
Very well.
That is the forum that I want to choose, rather than using the external space to vent out whatever I feel. And I strongly feel we party people do have the opportunity to ensure that the integrity or the reputation of the party that we so love is well cleaned for the people of Ghana to have full confidence in the party that we seek to lead.
Very well.
So I will urge my colleagues to rather look at the larger picture, look at the forum, which definitely will be made available to us for us to have that discussion there. And when we come back, we'll come back as a united front to be able to have all our internal issues resolved, including the choice of Dr. Yaosea Duchum as the leader of the party seeking power for the 2028 elections.
Great. Miracles, let me come to you before I go to Prof quickly. So the Michael Quay report, I mean, you heard Palgrave talk about Michael Quay report. Duchum's camp, Yao Poku mentioned, doesn't appear to have issues with what the discussion is. So the Michael Quay report, I have not seen it, but we understand that it suggested an expansion of the electoral college. So when would that decision or when would that expansion take place? Because I thought the expansion was to have an influence on choosing who the presidential candidate will be. When would that take place?
I still continue to clarify that polling station executives are not there for elections. They are there to help keep the party grounded at the polling station. Getting that opportunity to be part of the electoral college is just one of the things. Don't forget, when you look at our constitution, the polling station executives are not the only category that cast the vote in the presidential elections. So I really dislike it when we make it look like whatever recommendation that there is with the polling station expansion is merely for voting purposes. That is not the essence of it. There's a bigger picture. There's a bigger essence. So that's by the way. Secondly, Pargrave continues to use a lot of assumptions to make his point. The National Council is the only body that has the Professor Makokwe report. In fact, there are just about 2 copies or 3 copies. And they have the mandate to work under the direction of the National Conference, which is the biggest body, to implement these recommendations, which they have started. And you listen to all the contradictions in Pargrave's presentation, and I listened to Dr. Educhum's rep, and clearly you can tell where this is going. Listen, you can't tell me that there's a Makokwe report that needs to be implemented, and that is asking for expansion of electoral college. So that one, we should do it. We should do that. We should do that. Then, because it is constitutional, it's something that we have to do in the then you ask him, but they have a mandate that hasn't expired yet. So terminate it, so that we can go ahead. How can you try to fix something with an illegality? How can you fix something with an illegality? Oh, terminate it. When you terminate it, and that we are looking for a flag bearer, and
you're looking for a president.
But what has anything got to do with all of these things? What has it got to do with all the things we are discussing? It's like they are not even listening to the issues that pertain to the party that we are discussing. For them, it is all about the fact that they are going for a certain elections and they need to have their way. And that if it is not their way, everything else should cease. The National Council actually voted.
On the issue.
Yes.
It wasn't a unanimous.
Voted.
Okay.
You understand? And was 98% in support of the decision.
Okay.
So when you finish and you have a dissenting view, it is completely anti-party for you to bring that dissenting view in the public space. You understand what I'm saying? You may have that dissenting view, but that dissenting view was expressed on the floor of the National Council meeting, where it was discussed before finally a decision was reached. Now, immediately you move that dissenting view into the media space. All you are doing is that you are planting discord in the minds of people, knowing very well that this is a minority view. Otherwise, you think I want President Mahama to be president? Why is he president? He's president because majority says he should be president. It doesn't mean that I want him to be president. But I will not go to the US and the UK and go and denigrate President Mahama. Because whether I like it or not, the majority have chosen him. And that for me is a caution and advice I want to give to Pargrave and co. It is as if when they are his dissenting view doesn't pass in the party's decision room, we must come and bring it to the public and cause all more manner of disaffection for the party, which I find to be wrong. Let me tell you, I really am interested in having an early presidential primaries based on the reasons I've already espoused.
Yeah.
But if tomorrow National Council decides that these are the only people who cast the vote for the elections, I don't care. Because as a candidate, I don't set the rules. The only thing that matters is that the rules must be fair. And the fairness here is that, does Prof have a vote per the rules of engagement? He does. Would we count only Prof's votes when he cast it? Yes. If not, then I'll have an issue. But to insist that it should be done my way, and that if it's not done my way, the party is wrong, they are not intelligent, what they are doing is nonsense, it doesn't make sense, I think it's anti-party. And I think it's very important that as early as possible, these things are put through. And he keeps saying, the grassroots. Are you suggesting that the 280,000 people, police station executives, who are available now, they are not grassroots? And if you keep using connotations that intend to suggest that they are not credible, what are you telling them? They should leave MPP and go to the NDC. Because you are basically telling that they are not credible. They are there. The law says that it is them. They are supposed to cast that vote at any point in time that vote is needed. You are saying that no. Get them away. Let me ask a very simple question, Salom. Should you elect a presidential candidate and God forbid 3 months later he dies and you need to elect a new one, are you going to go and start the process from the polling station? Prof,
No,
let's say that the structure is that you go and vote again.
Yeah,
so if you are going to vote again, are you going to now say, even though police station executives, you were elected barely 3 months ago, and you came to cast a vote for a presidential candidate who has died, we need to elect a new presidential candidate, and so by their logic, we have to conduct a new police station elections? Because that's what you're saying. What you are saying is that any time that we are going to have a new presidential elections, we must have a new police station elections, whether their mandate has expired or not. That's what you're saying. Because at this point, there is a set of delegates whose mandates have not expired. You are saying that from the Kennedy Japan's perspective, you are saying that all our existing police station executives should be terminated, their mandate should be terminated, and a fresh elections held. Because in your own words, that is the only way you would accept it to be credible and all of that. And I'm saying, should we even do that? And we elect a presidential candidate, and that presidential candidate passes away 2 months later, and we have to go and elect a new presidential candidate. That same logic should be applied, because at that point we need a new presidential candidate. And per your logic, so long as we are going to have a new presidential candidate, we must go and have election from the grassroots level to the top. And you keep saying grassroots, grassroots, grassroots. Who is the grassroots? We have over 200,000 people who are currently holding the party at the lower level. You are not calling them grassroots. Today, if I'm a police station executive and I listen to what Kennedy Japan and his team are saying, I'll bow down my head in pain. Because for the past 3.5 years, the level of commitment, dedication, and hard work that these police station executives have put into ensuring that they hold the party down in their various police stations. And you are saying that even though your tenure has not ended, the party should terminate their mandate. They can even sue you. Because the constitution actually gives no such power to anybody. Not even the National Council has the power to terminate your mandate when the tenure is not due. The constitution didn't give that power to anybody. So in any case, even if you want to implement that, on which authority are you going to use to implement that mandate? And that is why I keep saying that if we continue to let our parochial interests lead us, we would always push the party into difficulties. I listened to Honorable Yereduchum's guy, and he's saying basically what we are saying. We are saying that we are players on the field. We don't make the rules. Let FIFA make the rules. When FIFA makes the rules, we would follow the rules. If FIFA says that when the ball crosses this line, it is throwing, he said, no. FIFA, the way the tennis, the pitch is too small. Open the pitch before we come and play. If you don't open it up, we won't play. Push the line further a bit. No. But that's basically what is happening. Then another person, then Kotoko, my dear Kotoko, is saying that FIFA says this is where the line is. We should use it. I think that in all due respect, the National Council, whether you like it or not, just as the conference, have been given the mandate to take certain decisions. When they take that decisions, it is binding on all of us. Bringing it into the media to help Salom and his media house to have content like we are doing now is wrong. It is completely wrong, totally unfair.
But the public wants it.
No.
The public wants to know what's happening.
It's our party business. The party have places where we take our decision. We take our decision. That's why the party has given structures. It is not everything that goes on in the organization. City FM is a public organization, you know that. I mean, one way or the other. Yes. It's a media house. But see, the public don't care about who is general manager or not. The public is not the one who wants to hear all your infighting about who is HOD or not.
So they're interested in.
They care about your output. They care about your output. And I think that I will continue to plead with Honorable Kennedy Japan and his team, Palgrave and co, that guys, if you have dissenting views, express it on the right platforms and not give ammunitions and arsenals to Prof. and this morning he's excited. I'm sure this is one of the most happiest political shows he's gone to because he's just listening to us and enjoying it.
Great. Prof is still listening, but I'll deal with him.
And he's not even. This is the first time he's not even complaining about not being given time.
Let's see perspective from a senior person. Doc, good morning and welcome to the program. It's been a while. How have you been? You may want to unmute so we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, morning. Yes, it's been a while. I mean, how have you been? What's your general thinking about the governance of the country? We have a new government 6 months into the administration. What's your take on that for starters?
Greetings to all your viewers. I think that the new government has been adequate, but is beginning to struggle. The structural problems that we've had as a country are beginning to show. The president campaigned on resetting, said he will have an economic forum. That economic forum took place. There was no emphasis on the diaspora. Corruption was not central to the discussion. He was going to stop Galamsey. That doesn't appear to have happened yet. In effect, I think that we are doing all the bad things we used to do, but we're doing them a little more cautiously. So the fundamentals have not changed, even though this government so far has not been as bad as the previous government. So I think there is mild encouragement, but this government has not been transformative yet.
I see. That's quite interesting. How about the economy? Many have said that they've tried to stabilize the economy and all of that. Is it just the goodwill any new government has that, in your view, is causing the stability, at least on the exchange rate front, and all the other indicators we are seeing doing well? Or you think it is as a result of prudent management of the economy, at least in the last 6 months?
I think it's a combination of all of them. I think, for example, they've expended a lot of resources into stabilizing the city. My economist friends will tell you that as a country that largely produces raw materials, strengthening the city is not necessarily a good thing, because when you do that, it means that your exports become more expensive. That is why historically, whenever third world countries are struggling, devaluation has been one of the tools. What we are doing is that we are reevaluating, and I do not necessarily think that that is sound economic policy, but we will see. As Dr. Baumia said, if you ignore the fundamentals, the exchange rate will expose you. So eventually we're going to see. But I think that the fundamentals of our economy is that too many people in Ghana don't produce anything. Everybody is doing buying and selling. People are just doing deals. And the economy grows on productivity. People producing real things. We've started seeing nurses and doctors and others go on strike because their remuneration is insufficient. All those things go to fundamentals that we ought to fix. I continue to be of the view that you cannot reset Ghana or turn it around without a key role for diasporans who send more money home than direct foreign investment per year, and who have more money and are willing to send it, provided we align the incentives the right way. So those fundamentals continue to be there. Our state-owned enterprises continue to bleed money, just as we heard about ECG and Cuckoo Board and all these other organizations and the debts that they left behind. The new leaders we've appointed, without any fundamental reforms, are also going to leave debts behind. I told people when Nanado announced the debt he came to meet with the National Health Insurance Scheme, that he will make noise about paying the debts. And then when he's ready to leave and he leaves, we'll find out there is more debt. And that's what is happening. And unfortunately, President Mahama is in the same predicament, that if we don't do the fundamentals that we need to do, these problems will continue to recur because they are structural and systemic problems.
I see. Enough on that front, at the national front. Now, your party, the New Patriotic Party, is readying itself for election 2028. Just this week, the National Council of the party made some proposals, decided that there should be an early flag bearer election. And so instead of sometime maybe August or December of next year, the flag bearer election should be held in January. What's your thoughts on that? They say the justification for that is that they need enough time for the candidates and everybody else to ensure party cohesion and all of that. What's your general thoughts around the proposal by the National Council?
My general thought is that, as usual, we seem to be acting in the interest of a small cabal. It appears to me that this hurriedly concocted proposal is aimed at benefiting certain people or a certain small group of people. I think that for a democratic party, and with the record that we've had, we seem to keep shooting ourselves in the foot. It will seem as if the most democratic party in Ghana historically is becoming more and more anti-democratic. We lose an election, we set up a committee to find out why we lost. When we get the report, we don't want to share it with the public. We say there are only a few copies. It seems that some people who would be candidates have access to the report. The leadership of the party is following one candidate going around. Then all of a sudden we get hit with, even though we set up a committee review committee, that committee hasn't even officially had this work evaluated by the general membership of the party yet, but all of a sudden we have a date. And every party is governed by a constitution, by rules and by conventions. I think our conventions that have evolved since the Fourth Republic is that after every major election, we go through a series of elections, beginning with the polling station, going through the national executive, before we go on to then pick our presidential candidate. Remember that after Kufuor's election, when we're heading into 2008, we had elections, I believe, in 2005. This same tradition held when Dubois was there, when Kufuor was there. I think that these things are good and they respect the wishes of the people. But I was around the table after 2008 when there was a heated discussion about expanding the delegate system. And everybody around the table, including Nana Akufo-Addo and a lot of the leaders, a lot of those speaking now were not even there, agreed that the ultimate in democratizing our party will be to give every party member or party supporter the right to vote. I don't know why we are afraid of doing that. Let me illustrate that. Elections are not static affairs. They depend on the moment and they depend on the future. So it may be that even the issues that you ask me questions about, as far as our nation is concerned, will be different by the time we get into 2028. That is the reason why around the globe, the perceived wisdom of political parties is that you wait as much as possible to choose your candidate close to the election, because the candidate must be chosen with the issues and the temperament of the country in mind. So to give you some examples, Lincoln wasn't a strong candidate until slavery came to the fore in the 1860 election. So that is why he won in preference to candidates who were better known. In 1976, Jimmy Carter was a virtual unknown, and if they had picked the candidate in, let's say, 1973, he wouldn't have been the Democratic candidate. But by the time they got to picking him, Watergate had become an issue. So somebody who is a priest with very good moral standing had become a very attractive candidate. Barack Obama was not that well known, but as change and hope and transformation became more of an issue, he gained saliency. And therefore, that is why the Democrats picked him. So this idea of picking your candidate far, far in advance, when you don't know the issues that will be salient during an election, is really anti-democratic. And I think that we have a chance to actually implement this that party leaders seem to fear. Let every party supporter vote. Here in the United States, what they do is that when you register for as a voter, you declare which party you support. It's not dependent on dues. When you make that declaration, you are entitled to vote in the primaries. So if we did that in Ghana, for example, it means that every MPP supporter now who is registered to vote will indicate that he's an MPP supporter. NDC supporters will do the same thing. And when you do that, they will be entitled to vote. The practical effect is that instead of saying, oh, let's have an equal number of delegates from, say, Bantuma and Wale Wale, all the thousands of MPP supporters in Bantuma will be entitled to vote. So it will not be 10 delegates from each of the two places. I think this is doable, it is cheap, and it will take away this system of some people having our party register under their bed or under their pillow. They bring it out at certain times, and it will also demonetize our primary process. I think that those who are serious about helping Ghana need to seriously sit up and say that the system whereby delegates are given money to vote has corrupted our system, and until we deal with it, our governments will continue to be controlled by sinister hands and interest. People invest in candidates, we give them money to buy the delegates, and it's getting more and more brazen. We share TV sets, we share fridges, people go around, they give them 20,000, 10,000, and then when the governments come and they are corrupt, we are surprised. They are corrupt because people have invested in picking these candidates, and those who invested in it are coming to recoup their money. We need to demonetize our politics, and we need to let sunshine in. Political parties are not private clubs whose members can sit in bedrooms and do whatever they want.
I mean, you did mention that it does appear that the status of affairs, or maybe the direction the party is seeking to take, may only be in the interest of a small group of people. Is that to suggest that the Bawumia camp, or Dr. Bawumia, who was a candidate before, has this going in his favor? The argument from the party generally is that we need adequate time to mend our cracks. The concern from the last election was that because the flag bearership election was very close to the main election, they did not have enough time to mend cracks, etc. A lot of things were said and they did not have time to mend the cracks. Now they are in opposition. They have more time on their hand. Why don't we do this, which is the main thing, clear it, have time to mend our cracks, and then take on the NDC, which is the bigger opponent in this?
Well, the cracks were self-inflicted. You know, it is the equivalent of somebody who has been stealing things from a house, saying, you know, we need to deal with the stealing. We need to deal with the thieves. And fundamentally, you know, in 2007, when we picked our candidate in December, we had just a year left to the election. And Nana Addo came out of the first round ahead, even though he was chosen in late 2007. So it didn't seem to have hurt him. The reason why we had problems the last time is not really because there was no time to heal the cracks. It was because fundamentally the primary election was based on the cracks. You know, during the primary, somebody lost an eye, nobody was disciplined. You know, people were bullied, threatened with being, what do they call it, dismissed from their positions. MPs were primaried because they supported other people. We should stop doing those things. And if we stop doing those things, a lot of the cracks that people are worried about, because the cracks and the hurt feelings come from the fact that people have not been treated fairly. Let us be Democrats. Our problem is that we're trying to build democracy without Democrats. There are people who are trying to pick their voters instead of allowing voters to pick their candidates. And as long as we don't do things fairly, then there will be people who are aggrieved. A full, I believe, 20 to 25% of John Mohammed's voters were MPP members, according to Boache Damkwa, Musa Damkwa. So we should look at why 25% of his voters will be MPP members, because they were unhappy with their party. Let us treat people fairly. Let us pick our candidates fairly. And by the way, let us build the foundations of our party so that whoever the candidate is, when you put him on top, he will be sitting atop a sound structure rather than doing it the other way around.
So is it your case that the current trajectory of the party doesn't seek to build the base or the foundation of the party in a way that will result in a positive outcome at the polls?
Yeah, no, it doesn't, and it is antithetical to how parties are built. You know, all around the world, I follow politics. There is no Democrat in the United States who thinks that picking their candidate in 2026 will be a good idea for the 2028 election. They don't know what the issues will be. They don't know what the strengths of the candidates. They want the issues to develop and the candidates to develop so that they can pick the best candidate. Because if you pick your candidate very early and the issues are such that they don't play to his or her strengths, then you shot yourself in the foot. The Canadians had the Conservatives leading opinion polls for all of the last 2 years until a few months before the election and Donald Trump was elected in the US. All of a sudden, the issues in the Canadian election changed. They picked a virtual unknown who had been governor of Bank of Canada and Bank of England because they needed somebody with strong economic skills. And that person is now prime minister, and Canadians are very happy because they were not looking to help any individual. They were looking to pick the best prime minister for Canada. That is how.
But yeah, these are true examples you've given. But is our context not different? I mean, the issues that have historically, affected or influenced our elections, we know the economy is key and a few other things. And also, in the US, for example, they hardly repeat candidates. In our case, it is actually the reverse. Normally, you don't win the first time. So it's when you come again that your chances grow. So, I mean, these are two different scenarios. So trying to compare them will be a bit problematic for our specific context and even for our history. Wouldn't that be the case?
Not necessarily. I mean, you say they don't repeat candidates, and Trump is back as 47. This is the first time in over 100 years that a president who has left office has been able to recapture office. So obviously they repeated him to good effect. So I am just saying that, and the reason why they don't repeat, they used to do that, and it used to work sometimes, it didn't work sometimes. And in fairness, in Ghana, sometimes repeating candidates will work, sometimes it won't. But I just say that we need to look at the issues that are salient at that point and then the strengths of the candidates. And if those things align, then sometimes a new candidate will be better. Sometimes to repeating the old candidate will be better. I actually think that repeating an old candidate or a new candidate in itself does not have inherent strengths or disadvantages. Somebody, for example, might argue, and I think we should take that with a pinch of salt, that if we have a northerner as president, going to pick another northerner, which means that you have two northern albeit minority candidates following one another, is a disadvantage. I think we shouldn't necessarily accept that argument. I'm just saying, let's build our party the same way we done it in the past. Let's pick our leaders. Let's open it up. Let everybody vote. And whoever wins, we should support that person. I think that there is too much haste to do things in a way that favors certain people. I remember after the defeat in 2008, somebody like McMahon said, look, as party leaders, our job is to help elect our candidate president. If we feel that, I think we should step aside. And so he didn't even go for re-election. Hininto said, I want to contest for continuity, but they both agreed that in order to deal with the next set of elections and party management, they needed to renew their mandate. I think the first order of business is that our current executives should renew their mandate. It doesn't mean anybody did anything wrong or that, but they should go for fresh mandates. And sometimes when they go, some people might say, oh, Executive X was good, so their mandate needs to be renewed. But Executive B, go and sit down and let somebody else come and help us. To use Dr. Baumia's analogy, when you look at Musa Dankwe's exit polling and the things that he said, maybe there are certain people who should be on the hypothetical bus he talks about and says he's an aplanqué of. They should be on the bus, but they should go and sit in the back so that we get new drivers and new leaders, because the public has a say in this and they are unhappy with what happened the last time. So we ought to look at those who took us from one of the biggest, strongest mandates in Ghana's history to one of the weakest mandates. If we do not take account of the message delivered by the electorate, then we'll be harming ourselves.
Very well. Thanks so much, Doc. I appreciate your time. We know that you had to stay up to do this interview. Thank you so much, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, who is former presidential aspirant of the New Patriotic Party. He contested in that 2007 primaries of the NPP, later assumed Miracles. He was the first person. Miracles is actually taken out from him. He became the director of communications for the NADO campaign in 2008. Interesting thoughts there. We are grateful. I'll come to you. But Titus, interesting views put together from the Duchim camp, Palgrave, Miracles, and now you heard Arthur Kennedy. What's putting everything together? How do you think the NPP should proceed? They want to elect a candidate in good time so they can meet you boot for boot.
See, even if I give them a good advice, they won't take it. so I am joining you as an empire of this show today, because even if I give them a very good advice coming from me, they won't take it.
It can only get us to wellness and not success.
Not success.
But the thing I see, as I keep saying, observers can only ask questions because we are not at a deciding table. And there are still questions that I think need to be answered. This decision for me raises few more questions. One, is it painting the NPP as a party that is just self-seeking rather than nation building? What is the real purpose of power? If the purpose of power is to help improve the lot of our people, you are gaining political power to govern. What are you doing to the nation when, after losing an election, we have a 4-year electoral cycle, and within, in fact, 6 months, all this is coming up? That's what I'm saying, is a bit that we will not fall for. As if we who are supposed to be governing are all supposed to direct our attention to what is happening here and join them in this whole enterprise.
But they need to put their house in order. Why do you set up political parties?
And that is why our electoral cycles are designed a particular way to allow us, everybody know the last year in the 4-year mandate become a very busy political season.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop me from choosing my candidates in
It's fine. I'm just asking questions because you see, MPP has been struggling to find anything to communicate on. They look, 6 months, they have been waiting whether there will be scandals, they are not finding any. The government is doing well. Now, look at, we are using precious time to be discussing, infighting, when we should be focusing on all the good things that this government is doing. So, is it really one of the motives? Why all of this? But at the end of the day, or is it a panic button? That's the last question I have to ask. Because that has been pressed. Because His Excellency is delivering excellently. And you hear my senior colleague, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, admit that the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has done better. Coming from the stock that he's coming from, he couldn't yield to say we have done excellently well, but I say it's better than the previous government. That admission is acceptable and is good. So this is what we should be talking about. But instead, maybe the sterling performance of His Excellency is putting them in a state of panic. And so they are rushing to take quick decisions, because all of this is because people are sitting around thinking, how are we ever going to wrestle power from the NDC if they've been able to bring down the dollar? Look at the exchange rate now. Look at how the economy is going. We are pleading with people to even drop prices. People predicted that we cannot sustain school feeding. At the time, they were like, free SHS was not, we're going to cancel it. Then we come and we make it better, right? Make dedicated funding. Go to the secondary schools and see how people are being fed. So, and they realize that this man is keeping to his word. So it's like a panic button being pressed just to, distract attention from the good deeds that are being done. But the NDC remains focused. And as I keep saying, we know that our destiny at any poll is not based on what happens on the other side.
But he also said, even though your performance is adequate,
Yes.
you are beginning to struggle, and the structural issues are beginning to show their heads.
Surprisingly, he didn't show any sign of the struggle. The honest truth is that we have never said anywhere that we have fixed the structural issues of the economy. No. We have come to meet an economy in a junk state by dint of hard work, austerity measures, fiscal discipline. We have moved it now from the rating agencies to B-. So instead of the president complaining on the international stage that the rating agencies are not helping us, he's focused on showing work, and the work is showing forth, and now they've come back to rate us well. That is the focus. I agree with him when he says that the fundamental issues have not been fixed. We know that we have not changed the structure of the Ghana economy yet, but we have to reposition this economy on the trajectory of growth. And that's exactly what we are doing. And we are resetting the nation. It doesn't take a day, 6 months to reset the nation. No. Over a 4-year period, we will reposition this country on a good path to growth that if we continue, we will get it better. And I'm sure that when we deliver on that mandate, Ghanaians will reward that, irrespective of who comes, whether it's a Brian or Baumia or anybody that they select. I'm happy to even hear my committee chairperson, a very fine gentleman, Dr. Patrick Yabuama, name coming up. A very, very, very fine gentleman. Whoever they bring, it doesn't affect our fortunes. Our fortunes will be determined by what happens there. My only advice to them will be that if they will take it, is that both sides have very valid arguments. They have to look at it, because if they really want to do the stepwise organization, it may require a major change in their constitution. The National Conference has the power to make that change. Whether they will call that a termination of people's mandate, as Miracles want to put it, or they will look at it as part of the reorganizational structure that, look, okay, we have to bring this thing forward, and therefore let's elect this, let's elect that people and do that. That is a decision that they have to take. But for political watchers, we just hope that it doesn't lead to a total destruction of the party.
The general thinking is that NDC fears Baumia, and so you see him as the most formidable candidate, and so anything that appears to be going his way, the NDC wants to scuttle it.
Oh my God, I can't laugh out loud on this platform. But who will fear a candidate that you have beaten with over 1.something million votes?
Mahamat was beaten in 2016. But
more than 1 million. More than 1 million votes?
Yes.
This magnitude?
And not this magnitude, but he's come back stronger, and he's even set a new
record. Of course.
And
you see, the difference between Mahama and Baumia is as clear as day from night. Look, Mahama was branded, was smeared with mud. But you see, when you are made of gold and people scratch you, your true color only comes out. Mahama was a posterity will judge him, and posterity has judged him favorably. All the scandals they put on Mahama in the run-up to 2016, none has stood the test of time. Let's see what happens with Oral. Let's see what happens with the scandals that are coming up. And see, when Mahama smelled even the near occasion of a scandal, he dealt with it. Someone's wishful thinking was punished. Mahama punished his own appointees. Some went to jail. We never saw that in the previous government. So the difference is so clear. Whether Baumia will ever be a candidate like that is something that I doubt will ever happen. But we wish them well. But as to that we fear any candidate, I would emphasize here that it is never lost on our minds that our destiny, our fate will be determined by our performance between now and 2028,
well.
and not who they select. So they can bring Baumia, they can bring anybody. We are cool. But whatever they are doing there,
but they put their house in order.
Yeah.
You know, the competition will be keener, because, like Ata Kennedy and a few others have said, that the NDC benefited from the despondency, the apathy within the MPP and how things happen. So if they have to put their house in order, and perhaps all their people go back to them, then the NDC will struggle.
That is just one view of it. NDC didn't just benefit from despondency of their NDC benefited from the bad governance. Ghanaians were angry. The arrogance of power, the opulence, opulent display of wealth when people were struggling, when you enter into people's pockets and take money directly from their pensions, right? Their bonds, and say that I will not give it to you. That is what people punish them for. And we are learning lessons from that. So you notice that His Excellency's appointees have all been careful. We know the people we are serving, that these people will punish you if you take them for granted. Well, they can interpret it out. If that is the interpretation of it, then I'm not sure they really know why they lost power. And then that is good for us, because to the extent that they don't know why they lost, we will continue to win. Because we recognize that the people of Ghana punish leadership if leadership take them for granted, and we are not about to take them for granted. It's good for them to put their house in order. I don't want to see a one-party state ever in this country. I want democracy to thrive. I want people to have choice and all of that, and to put us on our toes to perform better. And as we perform better, we continue to get our mandate be renewed. Look, at the end of our first 4 years, Ghanaians will come back and say, wow, if this is how good governance is, let's give these people another 4. At the end of that 4, oh wow, if we are seeing this improvement, let's give them another 4. And then we are going.
You would have broken the 8.
We are not going to start shouting with slogans and all of that. We are just focused. 4 years at a time.
I see. Nice one. Miracles, yes. I mean, Ata Kennedy has said quite a few things, but we saw this week about 60 or out of the 88 MPs endorsing Baumia. We've seen this before. What's Baumia House doing right to deserve this?
Have you seen there's something on social media that looked at the sets?
Which set?
My interest is what.
Okay, let you take.
My interest are the issues Prof is raising.
Okay.
I think we've had enough. With the MPP issues. You know me, I never find. I'm glad he's brought it. You know me, I never find interest. I never find interest in all these internal issues. Honestly, I don't enjoy it. But you see, I mean, the NDC, I've already told you that it's a clueless, everlasting, incompetent bunch of arrogant braggarts.
Oh, really?
Scammed their way to power. And probably they are very delusional with the realities on the ground. And of course, you know, maybe sometimes when you come to power and you get to the position, you begin to see things differently. Because to hear him say sterling performance, I'm sure a lot of your viewers are just shaking their head and saying, what have we done?
Sterling in comparison to...
No, please. Sterling in comparison to your manifesto, to your promises. That's what Ghanaians voted for. It's important we put it that way. Sterling. With respect to your manifesto. Listen, are you aware that as at 7 January 2025, a bag of cement was 85 cedis? And do you know today is 130 cedis? And in fact, we cannot even find it and buy.
130.
Are you aware? Yes, 130. I can even show you an invoice.
I understand it's 125.
It's not 125. Some places 123.
My producer is telling me it's 125.
Oh, okay. It's 123. 125. Okay. 130. I just bought some.
It's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay.
I can show you my invoice.
I bought it at Ayumensa for 130. But let me use your 125. Okay. Let me use your 125. I'll gladly take your 125. If in 6 months you are moving cement from 85 cedis to 125 cedis, then no one tells you where we are going. See, go to the markets. Tomatoes that they used to complain about, which they used to take to the market and campaign grounds and show to people. One is selling for about 10 cedis. Malata market here.
One tomato.
Pepper, please, Prof.
But those ones are they not seasonal?
I'm not asking, are you talking of one?
You are gagging us?
Oh, sorry.
Allow him to flow.
I was here seated when you're saying sterling. Excellent. Don't gag us. Don't gag us.
Right.
And you are sitting on TV and telling all your viewers that they are fine, they are okay. You brought sterling performance in 6 months. Dollar has come down. Tell me today one place that if you are looking for $1 in this country, you get it for 10.2. It's selling for 12.5.
But it is not
always
the case.
Can I? No, it's not. We were in this country when
the Bank of Ghana rate.
We were in
is
this
always
country.
different from the rate at the
We were
foreign
in this country when they told us that Bank of Ghana has the rate, but Abuchi has the dollar. So why do you think we should use a different key?
But in comparison,
we are not comparing.
What I'm saying is, no, it's a comparison.
No, we will not. No, we will not. It is not. I'll show you how I make my analysis.
Okay.
We are comparing them against their own word. We are measuring them against them. What are you talking about?
No, so, for example,
if the MPP was any good in your eyes, would you have voted for them?
No,
I am telling you that we knew BOG rates were there and they were being released, and they told the people of the country that vote against them, and that BOG has the rate, Abochi has the dollar. Please, I am telling you that BOG.
No problem with that. But
then why you? If you have no problem, then why you?
The rate, as in the I won't say the quantum, but the rate itself. BOG is saying 10. You're saying you get it.
I'm not the one saying. Yes. It is reported.
At the Forex Bureau, we say it is 12.
Yes.
All right. But is it not an admission that in the past perhaps it was 14 or 15?
I am not.
That is the relief.
So you didn't let me speak. That is the point. Your problem is that you jumped to try and interject me.
No, just make your point.
I am telling you that if you come and sit on TV and say that you have brought dollar from 14 to 12, so it's sterling, then the Ghanaian people would cry. Today, you are already lingering in your back pocket a levy that is going to increase our fuel, a gallon of fuel, by 4 cedi, 50 pesos. It's already in your back pocket that you are about to present to us, which is going to shoot up fuel prices. And then you tell us that it's sterling, and that you are excellent, and that the life of the Ghanaian person is so good, is doing well. You came to tell the Ghanaian people to vote for you, and said that you will let the schools go and buy agbelema, and they will go and buy beef. That was the president's words at Amasamai market, and that you will not let the Accra buy those things for them. The education minister 3 days ago said that thing they promised and they came to implement. Barely 1 month, he's realized that it's a bad idea and it's reverting.
I thought he warned the people that if they didn't do the right things, the old order
was it not the what? Please don't say thank you. Was it not the old order we're doing that you went to tell the people that it was wrong? You didn't know. No, you didn't have complete information.
Wait, it
and you were promising. No, wait. You didn't have complete information, and you were promising the people that Agbelema and things you go and buy Farmasama. You didn't know. So that is why I keep telling you that they have scammed their way to power, because it is only scamming that will let you promise the people one thing without having full information, only for you to come to office and begin now to do otherwise. Today, I hear the NDC, they've already started preparing the ground. You know, we should anticipate the international crude to go up, which will affect us because of Israel, Iran. These people, Professor and his friends, they were standing in our homes and telling us that there is no bomb from Ukraine that has hit Ghana. And so we should stop using that as an excuse. So now you are beginning to understand my description of them. Because all you can do is to try and explain your way out for them. But really, what they have done is that they have told the people one thing and they are delivering another thing. But let me tell you, they should enjoy the good old period. It is almost over. It is almost over because as we speak, nurses are on strike.
No.
They have, let me finish speaking. Let me finish making my point. Let me finish making my point. Don't interject me. Nurses are on strike. They have only suspended it for 2 weeks. So let me finish speaking. Let me make my point.
I mean, the point.
The what point? Did you let me finish my point?
No, but
if
you make long points.
No, let me.
You've
given me time, so allow me.
So finish up.
Is it not true that they are on strike and they've only suspended it? So what are you talking about? So why didn't you let me speak?
No, but I'm saying that the result is
finish listening to me. No, finish listening to me.
I hear you.
Finish listening to me.
Let me take a few messages.
As we speak, Closac has already threatened strike. Closac, they've already threatened strike. Mortuary Workers Association, they've threatened strike, and they are saying that living condition has gone up, and you must quickly give them their conditions of service. And you are sitting on TV telling us that life is good, everything is excellent. Only time will tell. And when that time comes, and the Ghanaian people are holding them by their place that I cannot mention on TV. They shouldn't scream because we'll not be in their...
A few messages that have come through. This one from Aista says, good morning to you and your cherished listeners and your panelists. The MPP's early Congress decision to impose Bawumia risk deepening internal divisions and won't alter the 2028 results. Centralizing power to appease a few causes lasting damage and won't guarantee victory. Those 1.5 million voters who oppose them will likely remain against their candidate, and the opposition is prepared. This one from Dobu says, per the logic of Dennis, the candidate can die anytime, but that message was rejected by over 50% of Ghanaians. You don't only need MPP to win the election, he says. This one says, tell Dennis to stop comparing 32.5 hour in January to 42.5 hour in June. That's about the cement discussion. We are all buying cement to...
32.5 that I'm referring to.
Very well.
2.5, 42.5, that's what I'm referring to. 42.5 in January was 85 cedis.
Very well.
That's what
We
I'm
are all
referring
buying
to. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
We are all buying cement to build.
He should send his shop to us and
how
we'll
much
go and buy from
is cooking oil? Ask him how much he bought fuel before driving to your station. This one says, please, good morning. Tell Miracle Sabwaji to show to stop this comparison. He makes this argument. He made this argument in 2024 and got 41% for Bawumia. We Ghanaians know them now. This is from Solo.
Muhammad lost 1 million. Came back.
Akume says, whatever is happening in the MPP must be of interest to all lovers of democracy. Personally, I strongly support the proposal of an early selection of the flag bearer of the MPP for the purpose of time advantage and selling opposing proposals to Ghanaians. The issue of credibility of the delegates list works in both ways. It does not follow that same delegates who favored Bawumia will favor him again this time around or always. Not necessarily. After all, Ghanaians who seemingly rejected Mahama in 2020 voted massively for him in 2024. But who says that same MPP delegates will vote same for Bawumia and not against him this time around? Let's have confidence in the thinking capacity of delegates to make good choices at all times. Let's note also that variables determine pattern of voting as well. This is lawyer Chris Akume. I think Dennis is happy with that, giving the source of the message and all that. We'll take a short break.
That's a very fair...
When we come back...
I thought you would give me a minute to just say something about...
No, I'll come back to the discussion. You can find a way around that. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll look at Abdulkman.
Politics meets power where the tough questions are asked. Welcome to Face to Face. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m., join Umaru Sanda Amadou as he takes you face to face with the key players shaping the future of our nation.
I lost over $10 million at the trade fair.
You had a fight with the management of trade fair?
I don't have a fight with them. I just deplore the way they went about what they did.
Let's talk about the chief prosecutor of the state at the time that you were being prosecuted, Godfrey Yeboah Dame, the Attorney General.
Yes. I think he was directed to jail us.
By who?
By the system.
Boku has been a failure for your government, though.
Can't be a failure.
You have not solved it.
No, you are not praising them, the previous government for solving it, which was even a more difficult case.
It's quite obvious that from these votes, the people felt that let's just let you go.
So they were disappointed in us. You are essentially the worst government in the Fourth Republic.
I don't know how you are doing that. If you based on the indicators.
Yes, based on the number of people who refuse to come and vote for you.
If that is your analysis, then why not?
No filter, no boundaries, just the truth behind the headlines. Deep, bold, and unflinching. Face to Face with Umaru Sanda Amadou airs on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV, where politics gets real.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and things of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
This June, the Business Wave is back and it's bigger than ever. The City Business Festival 2025 on City FM and Channel 1 TV, where it's all about business. This June, we will be celebrating Ghanaian businesses, re-examining our business modules and practices through our business forum, and sharing knowledge through our on-air business discussions. Make a business date with the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 City FM and 10 a.m. on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. From expert interviews to real-world insights to the tools you need to grow. Don't miss a single moment this June. It's the City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. Only on City FM and Channel 1 TV. Your business, your future, your time is now. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's grow together. The City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business.
The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Ghana Limited.
You're welcome back. This is a big issue. 97.3 City FM and on Channel 1 television. Just gone by a discussion on the MPP and their internal issues regarding early presidential primaries and all of that. We want to move on now and deal with the issue about Electoral Commission and the declaration of the Abum North constituency results. My guests, of course, are Dennis Miracles Abuaji, Director of Communications for the 2024 Baumia campaign, and Professor Titus Bayu, Member of Parliament for Lambusi, of course, board chair of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, former General Secretary of the GMA, and a few other things he has done. We may be joined by the EC as well, but for now we have two gentlemen in the studio who will do justice to this. Let me just provide you some updates on this. The Electoral Commission has ruled out an immediate rerun of the 2024 parliamentary election in the Abum North constituency, stating that results from 3 outstanding polling stations can still be collated. However, the process has been delayed due to the Ghana Police Service awaiting advice from the Attorney General's Department on how best to provide security for the collation center. Responding to questions on the floor of Parliament, the Deputy Chairperson of the EC in charge of Corporate Affairs, Dr. Bosman Asari, clarified that a rerun remains a last resort. Channel 1 News' Niayuko Okai reports.
The collation of parliamentary election results for Abum North, the only remaining constituency after the 2024 general elections, began on 8th January 2025, but was halted due to incomplete results from 3 polling stations. The EC had scheduled the continuation of the collation for 17th January 2025. However, based on intelligence reports, the Ghana Police Service advised the postponement of the collation of the results for the constituency, whereas the NPP MPs have petitioned the IGP to provide protection for the completion of the coalition, the NDC MPs have called for a rerun of the election in the Abum North constituency. On Thursday, a deputy chair of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, appeared in Parliament to answer questions regarding the exercise. He ruled out an immediate rerun of the election, stating that the process has been delayed due to the AG's delay in providing an advice to the police on how best to provide security for the process.
We haven't reached the point where the commission will say we don't have the results. So when we try and we cannot get the results, that's when we will resort. So the rerun will be a last option. So once we get to that point, we will do. But as we speak now, the commission is ready to proceed with the collation. We just need the support of the security agencies to enable us complete it. The Ghana Police Service, the National Election Security Task Force, in a response to our letter, informed the commission that the issue of the completion of the collation of Abum North constituency parliamentary election result has been referred to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice for legal advice, and further stated that in the view of the referral, the National Security Task Force will hold on until the legal advice is received. Since then, we have followed up with the police and they have indicated they have not received the advice from the Attorney General. As a commission, we are desirous of ensuring that the people of Abum North have a representation in Parliament. We urge this Honourable House to assist us in getting the support of the Ghana Police Service to provide the requisite protection to enable us to complete this collation exercise.
The submission by the Deputy Chair of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, on the floor of Parliament generated reactions from lawmakers on both sides of the House.
Assuming what would have happened to the country if we were not well behaved, that a certain portion of the population, one, is aware that they have no elected representative in Parliament, unacceptable. More so, they have to wait more than 30 days, 20 days for the Electoral Commission to do that. Mr. Speaker, it's about their integrity. For me, that's even shameful that today you are coming because Parliament have summoned you. What's the state of integrity of the Commission? That you conduct an election and you want to hold on.
I feel very sad as former Minister for Defense that the impression is being created that the Ghana police, and if they cannot do it, to be supported by the military, cannot give the Electoral Commission protection for 3 constituencies. I feel very sad.
All right, that was a report from Parliament. Yes, so yes, Tatos, you are in Parliament, yes. And the Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission. But was there any reason why the Chairperson herself didn't turn up?
That only the EC will respond. But let me just quickly make some quick rebuttal of a few issues raised by my colleague.
In the previous discussion.
The previous discussion, while I zoom into this. I really want to focus on this. But just on few points is that it's interesting that my very good friend here, when it comes to cement, and I just want people, the viewers, to judge, he quotes what the price was on January 7th, and then quotes what the price is now, even though wrongly quoted. Then when it comes to dollar, he doesn't mention what the dollar was and what it is now. No, I'm coming. So you can see that the difference. And we are looking at the height that they took us to. Now let's talk the fuel.
The dollar was 40. Yes.
Let's look at fuel. Fuel price, he talked about the ESLA levy that we are bringing of one city. And they want to couch it in a particular way per liter. They want to couch in a particular way to tell a story. I mean, that is the beauty of using figures.
But that's a fact.
I'm coming. You can use figures anyway to present your story. But note that fuel, what was the cost per liter of fuel when we took over? How have we dropped it to what level? And it was continuing to drop. This last pricing window, fuel still dropped. And we had done the modeling and knew that it was going to drop. And we're adding 1 Ghana cedi, and it was not going to change it because it was going to affect the magnitude of the drop. You are not going to feel any difference in the pump. If you feel a car, now a car that used to feel like 600 Ghana cedi, 400 cedis is feeling it. Everybody feels, and he has felt it. So if he says that this is not good performance, I mean,
maybe Stella.
We leave it for him to. But the good thing is, I just want him to know we live in the reality. We will never say that everybody's satisfied when people are hungry. That's why we know saying we fix the situation. We are in the process of fixing, and we are seeing the early signs. But we admit that there are still challenges because of the depth that we are coming from. The depth we are coming from means that you can't fix it overnight. But we have done a good thing. But let's go to the EC story.
Yes.
As a legislator myself, it is very sad that any part of this country will not be represented because the people need to be heard, their views need to be heard. I go consult my constituents on topical issues before I come and talk, and I give feedback to them. So it is not fair that anybody is not heard. But my word to the EC is that they are asking for security, guarantee of security by the Election Task Force. Please let the Electoral Commission know that security at elections is not guaranteed by the presence of the Election Security Task Force. Security is guaranteed by doing the right thing. That is the fundamental of guaranteeing security at election. By being fair, by being transparent to everybody. That is the first guarantee of security. If you are fair to people, you are transparent, you are doing the right thing, the argument will not rise in the first place. Dispute is unlikely to rise. People lose, they lose fairly. You will not get any issues that will warrant the presence
Is there a suggestion that the EC didn't do the right thing?
No, it is a suggestion to the EC that what they do now in this current situation, if they don't act fairly and do the right thing, it will cause pandemonium.
What would be fair?
The reason why we are saying that they should rerun in some portions, and I heard him say that is the last resort. Okay, that last resort, we think we are there, but they don't think so, and we will soon get there. Now, if you have a situation where you don't have the pink sheets of some polling stations, and you are going to rely, there are two parties in the election, you are going to rely on not actual pink sheets, but scanned pink sheets of another party in this AI world. Are you not fomenting trouble?
But there were presiding officers. So if the presiding officers come to validate or confirm,
then why didn't do that for the rest of the election? Then the rest of the election, we should have just said that let's trust the presiding officers.
No, but there were pink sheets. So
do we have it now?
No, I'm saying that from what Bosman Asari said, he said there were some 17 pink sheets, for example, that were scanned, but they were validated by their presiding officers.
Scanned by who?
From the MPP, which were validated.
Do they
have the NDC agreed to?
No, you see, this is what I'm saying, that they ought to be careful. They ought to be very, very, very careful. You see, sometimes you don't go stoke fire and then start screaming because you are having a situation where two people are. You said at the introduction, I drive through the constituency every day. All of them believe they've won.
They are both thanking.
They are both thanking the people. The billboards are always by each other. I wish that we'll get a solution to this quickly. But we must use a very fair means because this is a very heated election. Unfortunately, there have been fire incidents, all sorts of very undesirable things happen there. Very undesirable. We should not damage the situation or make it worse. You don't have the pink sheets. You admit that you don't have them. And you are going to rely on somebody's pink sheets that have been scanned. If it doesn't go in the favor of the other person, do you think the person will accept it? Do you think for such a closely run election? So if they are looking for fairness, they are looking for what will satisfy everybody. The persons who voted are still alive. The election machinery is still there. Nobody is saying rerun the entire constituency where you have pink sheets for. The ones that you do not have, you don't have an independent means of verifying. You cannot rely on the same polling officials. When it suits them, they say they were threatened.
So the presiding officers will not be independent in this matter?
I'm telling you that these presiding officers in this very election, where issues have risen, presiding officers said they were threatened and coerced to announce results. Right? Now you are going to rely on their word of mouth testimony. Show us the pink sheet. Is that not what we have learned from all our election disputes? When we went to the Supreme Court, wasn't it a matter of pink sheets? That is the evidence of the game. They say evidence is the name of the game. So my humble advice to the electoral commission is that, look, you are looking for peace. You want a very successful resolution to this, and you want security guarantee. I give them a gentle advice. That security guarantee is sitting down and asking yourself, what will be fair to all sides and acceptable? When people lose fairly, they accept the results. When you can produce the pink sheet that I have lost, I will not argue, because if you go to court, we are going to rely on those pink sheets. You are going to declare a result where you don't have pink sheets, and you are saying you are relying on scanned pink sheet. I mean, in this day and age of AI, of where everything can be produced, you want us to believe the scanned pink sheet of one party, or believe that your presiding officer's word of mouth testimony is enough? Was the entire election conducted based on word of mouth testimony of any presiding officer?
So is it a case that nobody remembers the specific result from those police stations from both ends? I mean, so that maybe right from there
on such a slippery ground, do you want to use memory? When people's memory failed them, what happens?
Just when it happened. I mean, did you have video recordings? Because this day and age, you have people videoing.
Good. So
processes
if
like
we
that.
can produce all of those evidence to prove to anybody beyond any reasonable doubt that these are the genuine results, that's fine. But if you go and bring something, video evidence, you will tell me, if someone bring a video evidence of Dennis today, that he said something that has led to Baumian's loss, Dennis will tell you that that is not his voice. Prove it. If it is yours, it's yours. If it is yours, it's yours. I'm just saying it.
Somebody doctored.
Somebody can doctor it.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, you do as well. So let me just wrap up. So my point is that we should have evidence that is sacrosanct, evidence that is not contestable. And if you, in the absence of that evidence, it is the reason why we are a government in power. We don't want anything disturbing the peace of this country. We want the people to be fairly represented. If it is our candidate, we'll be very happy. If it is their candidate, we'll welcome her to parliament. But it should be fair. And don't go use one person's pink sheet. I mean, on the sides of parliament, our colleagues like, oh, NDC, you people are very greedy. You are very selfish. You have 180 something. Just give us this last one. And then I'm saying that, if you look at it in aggregate numbers, you say that, oh, just giving the single one will do nothing. But remember, it's not that. It's about people's franchise. The people of Abum North have gone out, queued and voted. People have struggled in the course of campaign, had accidents, went through a whole lot of things. They want their will to be expressed, and that should not be subverted by anything. So for my advice, again, I don't want to, I'll give Dennis the opportunity to talk on this, but our call is that we believe, based on all the facts before us and based on the EC's own admission, that where you don't have the pink sheet as EC, and we don't have to show, and they don't have the physical pink sheet to show, we will not accept.
Even if there are presiding officers who are there as their eyes confirm that these were the results. Because that's what they did for some of the constituencies, which were declared later. They called their presiding officers to come and confirm. Some did not.
Is that the established principle for or practice for collating electoral results?
The danger is that if I'm losing, I can disrupt the process, destroy everything, because I know there could be a rerun for me to do something.
Yes.
But if the presiding officer who makes the announcement can remember, maybe in a short time, that no, this is not the result, this is not what I signed.
Yes.
Then it can be a beginning point, it can be a starting point.
You see, you look at the stakes to decide on these matters. Where the stakes are high and you want to prove beyond reasonable doubt, you don't want to rely on just what somebody has remembered.
You want the document.
You want the document, the evidence. Because remember, if it goes either way, somebody may go to court. And we are going to court for a presiding officer to come and stand there. Then me as a doctor, I'm going to even ask that we should judge the competence. Mental competence, I'm talking about, of the presiding officer. Let's test their memory even before they speak. Right? So we need abundant evidence. So all we are saying, if you don't have that evidence, please, for those areas where you cannot independently produce your results, just conduct fresh elections. The security officers will provide the security to conduct that election. But remember, the first building block of electoral security is that the process must be fair. It must be transparent. It must be acceptable to all. And once you can guarantee that, you are on the path to peace. Then the election task force come in to help. And I don't think that if I were a candidate there and I lose this election as a result of someone's pink sheet that are not physical for me to even inspect, that this is my signature or the signature of my agent, but something that has been scanned, I wouldn't take that. So EC, I think, is a good advice to them. Look at it when you don't have the evidence. Please reconduct, unless someone is scared that when the election is conducted, they will lose. I mean, I don't know, maybe when I say we are doing well, Dennis doesn't agree. I don't expect him to agree, but maybe they think the economy now and all that is happening in this country, the fact that His Excellency has kept to his word on everything he said he would do, that if any election is conducted anywhere in this country, they will lose. And therefore, they don't want the people to have an opportunity to even go and vote again. If not, then let's vote again. Because who does that? That you are going to rely on someone's memory?
Very well. Dennis, what's your issue with the
you know the way they say
with the Abum North matter?
You know the way they say in account that I hear my referee in English. Once you have good living, you lose your memory and forget about yourself and forget about everybody. Because I keep listening to Prof. And I keep asking, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, where really that honey is referring to is, and I can't find it. Do you know why if we go into an election in Abum North right now, they will still lose? It is because the guys in Abum North have slept in darkness for the past 6 months. Getting light once in a while.
Darkness.
Oh, please. See, the Doomsday situation is so bad that unless you are in government, you don't even realize it. Go and talk to your accountable here, and they will tell you the number of times they buy fuel into your plants in this premise. Factories are collapsing in Tema. Where I live, there's a biscuit factory. They folded up. Some are producing at half capacity. Because you can't run on genset forever. It will affect your cost of production. And you have to increase your prices. People have been laid off in the Tama enclave. It's very serious. The situation is that bad. Go and talk to those on the Spintex Road, the Lashibi area. It's terrible.
The factories.
Terrible. Even those who live there, Reggie Manuel and all those people, the TDC. Go and check Community 20. It's bad, Salom. The situation is terrible. And instead of this government acknowledging it and trying to fix it for us, they are telling us everything is fine. And he's saying, listen, the GPLT people, they are showing their teeth. The situation is bad. The system is bad. Listen, the minister for road was in parliament lamenting. This government is not spending. We are in a rainy season. The roads are deteriorating. Go to the western north area. Road projects that were ongoing have been halted. The potholes are seeping up. People have their foodstuffs stuck in their farms. Why is this government? They are gaslighting us. Salom, that's what they are doing. They are gaslighting us. It's like we are hungry and they are telling us, no, you are not hungry. You are just tired. That's what they are doing to us. And you know, the government and its MPs and ministers and functionaries, they are letting the citizens of this country even question ourselves. Like, sometimes, sitting here, I'm trying to ask myself if truly he's right and I'm wrong.
You see, the whole thing looks theatrical.
No, I'm telling you, it's a serious matter. It's a very, very serious matter. You see, he laughs over it. He thinks it's theoretical. But today, as it's raining, young people who you promised jobs will be wrapping themselves in rubber in Tema Station and sleeping by the roadside. You promised them. I didn't. That's why they voted against us. You told them you'll do it for them. You've abandoned them. You think it's theater. It's a serious matter.
Now let's get back to Abum.
Kayayes, who were given hostels and training places to be trained in Medina, you've sacked them from their place. You've sacked them from their place. Go to the Medina place, social center, the Kaye training center, the hostel, Dr. Baumia, you've sacked them.
So what's happening there?
I don't know. We're in a serious situation, and you think it's theater. And it's not just Timo, all of them. You know why? Because they are comfortable. And what pains me and hurts me is how they gaslight us. They make you question yourself. Like, you are broke, but they make you check whether indeed you are broke or not, because they are telling you that you are rich. Let me come to Abum North. We are in a serious situation, though.
Maybe it's confession. Let them poor say I'm rich.
It's a serious situation, and it's hopeless right now. Very, very hopeless. But we'll deal with that later. So with this electoral commission matter, for me, it's just an issue of, I keep using this biblical thing in the Bible. I think I use it in the election night.
The election night, you were very biblical that night.
You see,
so let me just
the story of
at the time you were making that declaration, what was your sense? What was your picture? Because you were seeing the results.
No, so you see, and that's something that people keep missing. When we are collating the results, even the electoral commission and all of us doing collation out at different length, at every point in time. So you could do 70% or 80% of your collation and you are losing.
Yeah.
But the last 30% may come and you win. Depending on where you're collating from. At the time we had that pressure,
things were looking good.
Yes. And what was even more dangerous, for which reason we need to hold, because don't forget that pressure had several issues. One of them was when the NDC were attacking collation centers. You remember I did that presser after the NDC held their presser and asked their members to move into all collation centers. That was when I did my presser. I did that presser after. And that presser was basically to try and calm tempers. Listen, Salom, if we had not done that presser, what happened in Abum North would have happened in over 100 collation centers. Because basically what happened in Abum North was that the NDC besieged the center and started tearing up everything after they had lost and burning them. Even days after that, they still went to burn some of the boxes in the classroom. So
you can't say this.
Why are you? Let me finish then. They are the ones who did it from the center. So the easiest assumption is that they did it.
An assumption.
Why? The logic is that if wait.
The assumption cannot be there.
Because see, this is crime.
Yes.
I am telling you that. I am telling you that. Based on the actions of the NDC at the collation center, which we have videos of in Abum North, where they taught things, brought macho men and hit on the table and destroyed electoral commission materials, I have every reasonable grounds to suspect that they bent the ballot boxes.
That remains a suspicion.
Why are you forcing me to say what you
this is a matter of crime.
Well, you cannot come here and accuse the party of
because they
what's your proof?
Have you submitted?
Because I am saying this on the back of what they did at the coalition center.
But it's not necessarily so.
So you can keep that. You are also assuming.
No, I'm saying that.
Isn't yours also an assumption?
We're stating facts.
If you allege,
you are disrupting me.
You must. You can't allege crime.
Police.
What do you want me to say? Tell me what I say for
no. The police.
What do you want me to say?
The police. You could say alleged.
Okay, it is alleged that the NDC who started destroying the ballot papers at Abum North in the collation center in the full glare of the security, it is alleged that they went the next day to go and continue burning the rest of the classroom block. Is that okay?
Yes,
okay, then I can proceed. Now, my biggest concern is that if the EC doesn't stand its ground and decides to conduct fresh elections in Abum North, they would have sowed a seed that can never be done away with in this country. And I'll tell you why. You see, our elections is structured in a very logical manner that dealing with this situation is so easy. At every polling station, when you finish counting, the collation center is not a problem. You know why? Because every agent at the polling station is given a copy of the pink sheet. Why do you think that is done?
So everybody has results.
Afterwards, a copy is pasted at the polling station. Why do you think that is done?
So everybody sees it.
It is even counted in the full glare of everybody in the polling station. Why do you think that is done? Then when you come to the collation center, it is just a matter of course. It is just a matter of course. Now, the NDC went to this collation center at Abum North with macho men, destroyed the electoral materials. It is on video. I still have that video. At some point, almost beating the electoral commission officers. He talks about the electoral commission officers saying that they were coerced too. They didn't say they were coerced. We saw the coercion. They didn't say it too. We saw it. We saw the coercion when at Tema Central. We saw the coercion at Okaikwe Central. We saw the coercion at Abum North. We saw it. We saw it when Sam George was the one reciting to the electoral officer and telling what to say. We saw it. It's pathetic. It's sad. It's shameful. It's embarrassing.
No, but those have been corrected.
No. Wait. Because he talked about he used that as an excuse. He's saying that they are saying that in other places they were coerced. And I'm saying that they were not the ones saying they were coerced. We saw it with our eyes. When they were being coerced, basically being recited to them what they should say. Why? After all the years and all we have achieved in our democracy, why? Why should we bring such a shame upon ourselves? It is only the woman who is guilty, who was insisting of splitting the alive child. That is why they keep saying we should go and vote again. Otherwise, why should people spend months, weeks, days, spending money, time and resources to campaign in their constituency? Go to the ballot, have a peaceful vote. In fact, get it counted peacefully in their polling stations. Then, for you to simply put it together, you are saying that they should go and go through that painful process again. You think we will agree? Why should we agree to that? Why? Because it's the NDC saying they want that.
But then if there are two sides, or maybe even three sides, the MPP, the EC, and the NDC, all of them are supposed to actually have their pink sheets. But two do not have. Only one has, and there's contention. How do I validate?
The EC said it in Parliament. They are not even there yet. For now, give them security. Let them get to that point. At the moment, they are not even there yet. He said, let's finish our coalition. When we finish our coalition and our issues, don't forget that our laws have inherent systems and structures to deal with this. It doesn't take violence. It doesn't take macho men. It doesn't take the NDC's direction to deal with such a situation. There are inherent processes in our laws. What does the electoral law say? When you collate a resource and you have an issue with a particular pink sheet that was used for it, what does the law say? That is what we are supposed to utilize. We are supposed to utilize. It is common sense, Salom. But we are not supposed to say that at this point where we are, we will beat you if you decide to collate, and that we cannot guarantee your safety, and that peace cannot come if you continue to collate. It doesn't augur well. Listen, what happened in 2024 is not going to happen again in 2028 elections. So I can assure you. That situation where I had to come on TV and come and calm tempers and tell our people not to go to collation center, it will not happen. With what they have taught us and what they are doing now, it will not happen again. I can assure you. Listen, these guys basically beat policemen at police stations. Go and see the Insawam video. They've besieged the collation center, picked the ballot boxes. The video is there. You have played it on your TV before. Smashed it on the floor. Sacked the policemen. That is what the NDC did. And you think that we should condone this?
But shouldn't, of course, all what you
are saying. So I am simply saying that. That scenario they had, where I was on TV telling our people to calm down because, of course, we thought that our democracy had matured to the point that these things were unnecessary. And they used that as a basis to besiege. Listen, this NDC government and party, at least if we want to contend parliamentary results, we can contend about 88. That they went to cause the same
88.
Yes, what they did in Tema Central, it was like a rehearsed thing. 88.
So you double your numbers.
I am telling you, that is one of the reasons why some of our party people even were upset that we had to concede at the time we conceded. When we also thought that the consumption was to prevent the almost bloodshed that was going to come if we had continued. Because at the time we did the concession, these guys and their macho men had gone into every collation center beating policemen. And policemen basically holding their selves together, not knowing what to do. It is on video. I'm not the one saying, you have shown it on your channel.
Yeah, but it's quite dramatic.
Yeah, you know that because you see, you don't feel what I feel. If you have moved around this country for months, for weeks, no sleep, mobilizing people so everybody can have one vote, and you go through what we went through, you understand me. These are party people in the polling stations. They sweat. Some of them don't sleep. Some of them lose weight. Are you aware some of our people have died because we lost these elections? It should be lost on fair ground, not on the ground that somebody brings macho men.
No, but are you saying the election was not lost?
I'm telling you that if we are to use the principle they are using now, 88 constituencies will be in contention. Do you recollect what happened in Okaikwe Central?
What exactly?
Patrick Boames, please. Do you recollect what happened? Do you recollect what happened in Tema Central? It happened in several other places. See, another press spent 4 days at Tesano simply to get an election that was held in Nsawam counted. Why? Because policemen say that we cannot protect you or prevent NDC macho men from destroying ballot papers and ballot boxes. The EC have a rule. They have to do their job. The election must conclude. You cannot truncate it. They must finish collating the results. When they finish collating the results, and for example, you feel that there are some 2 or 3 polling stations that their results I am not so comfortable with because of A, B, C, D, and that if I bring it in, it may alter the results. There are processes. So let them finish their job. When they finish their job,
the point they are making is that the finishing the job means that those 3 other, pink sheets, which they say they are scanned, the other side said they will not agree.
No, but they need to finish. So the rule is simple. If they want to use a scanned document, they have to finish. When they finish, you choose not to sign.
But they will declare anyway.
Yes, then you choose. That is the law. You don't like the law, but that is the law. They have to do their job, which includes, okay, we have a scanned copy. We want to use it. Don't forget that. I beg you.
I have to come here.
No, you see, he's just concluding.
Don't forget that even at the national level, they use scanned copies. They receive scanned copies. At the regional level, they receive scanned copies.
They receive scanned copies from
their constituency collation center.
From a political party.
Oh, can I please?
No, you see, when you are making certain things, we need to correct it.
So when the electoral, so at this point, it is the electoral commission that is admitting that has verified a scan.
It's not receiving.
That has validated a scanned pink sheet and admitting it to utilize it. Now wait, relax. When they finish and you have this concern, there are processes. But you cannot use machoism.
That is not the law.
You cannot use machoism.
That is not the law. It's not machoism. We are following the law.
Don't do that.
No, see, what you are doing is not right.
I need to finish.
You've made several assertions. No, that's not.
No, I need to conclude.
Just conclude.
I need to conclude. Otherwise, I'll come and do it to you.
No, just conclude.
Yes.
Just conclude.
I am saying that.
Yeah, so you're saying that you
relax. They have admitted a particular pink sheet to use for the coalition. It is not up to you to say that we will not allow you.
Very well.
The rules allow them to finish. When they finish, you don't have to sign.
No.
You don't have to sign. And then when you don't sign, there are processes you have to follow to challenge it. But in the current situation, what is happening is that they have cutlasses and guns at the center.
Really?
Preventing electoral commission. Otherwise, why is electoral commission saying? Otherwise, why are they saying they need security? Why are they saying? Why did the police say that they cannot provide security? Why did the police say they cannot provide security?
So problem. Let me.
I'll have my turn anyway.
It's unfortunate how Dennis is going all theatrical about it, dramatizing everything, and peddling a lot of untruths and making very wild allegations without any evidence of proof. It is very obvious. I mean, if you sit down and assess his conduct and how he's speaking and all the assertions and the words being thrown around, you see someone who has not gone through grieving, the process of grieving very well.
As a result of the loss?
Yes. No, they've suffered a very devastating loss. Instead of going through the processes, I don't know whether he's still at the first level, which is denial.
We thank you.
Because you need to go to the process. He's still in a state of denial, in a state of anger, and he has not even gotten to a level of bargaining, let alone coming to acceptance. And
we hear you.
And I pity him in this state, and I pity his paymasters, because you see, for instance, if you continue in this trajectory, you will get the same 41%. If I were employing him, I would not allow you to continue in this trajectory. Because you see, if I've given you an assignment, a task, you have performed, you scored 41%. The least I expect of you is for you to go take your time, introspect, and come out with proper
but they've done that.
I'm coming. So you see, this pattern of communication, this pattern of communication led to a particular result, and they have not made any change in that pattern of communication.
We thank you.
The Ghanaian is a better judge to see the performance of everybody and make a decision. Whether indeed we've had 6 months of doom so without light, the Ghanaian is living it and they will judge. We know that we are having challenges. We know that we have inherited a power sector that was debt ridden, where you were not paying your independent power producers, where you were borrowing to sustain and never paid, accrued so much debt. And then we decide that let's put 1 Ghana cedi on fuel that we have drastically brought down the price to be able to keep the lights on and make sure that we have sufficient fuel. And in the long term, add an additional gas plant to make sure that we can sustain this, and you feel this is wrong, the Ghanaian will judge who is interested in building the nation and who is interested in just getting power. On the issue of Ablekuma, we should not promote lawlessness. And you did ask that question. Which of the national coalition centers, or where is there a coalition that we are using scanned copies of a political party? Where?
So Prof, is it not the case that the EC must finish its work? So that if you disagree with it, there are processes
the
to
EC must finish its work and finish it lawfully.
Yes, but the EC
you don't permit the EC to perpetuate illegality only to go and cry.
Who's giving the permission? The EC says they will call their presiding officers.
Yes.
Their presiding officers will come and validate the scanned copies of what.
My point is that the starting is wrong.
Who is giving the permission? Dennis, if that is wrong, and they go ahead to do it, the system has corrective measures.
So why do you allow the wrong to be done, to be committed, and only say that you're going to correct it? The law says that when we finish an election, we count publicly. You declare it. You fill a pink sheet, which failing you have even started before the actual poll, right? There are different segments that is filled. We've gone through the process. At the end, parties sign. You give them copies, and then you display. You keep the original copy.
Yeah, but for some reason, we can't find those.
Good. Not for reason. They destroyed it. It's not for some reason.
So you can't find the original copy because it's destroyed.
By the end,
and he's making all sorts of allegations. Let's leave that. Let's focus. I mean, I will not speak to things that are not facts.
Let's go ahead.
So you can't find the original copy. What does the law say when you are at that point? You are either capable of declaring a resource or you cannot declare a resource. When you cannot declare a resource, you say so that I cannot declare this resource because I don't have pink sheet.
But
they
say they haven't reached there.
No, wait. To tell a party in the election that I'm going to take pink sheet from your opponent, not actual pink sheet that I can also look and even see, but scanned copies. In this technological world,
where is your pink
and tell me that
Dennis,
I don't have it.
Why?
So why is yours?
Why are you people like this?
Why is yours?
No, like this?
Why?
Dennis,
No. If you have a scanned copy,
my friend, why? If you're having a conversation.
If you're having a scanned copy,
like this?
If you're having a scanned copy, prove to the whole world with the original copy, not scanned copy, because we know you can alter the scanned copy.
You beat them.
So the scan can always be altered. Because it can be altered, it's subject to debate.
So that debate will be settled by my officer. My person who is a referee, I put there.
Your officer should come. Your officer
should. He doesn't have his original.
Your officer should come to the debate on a balanced debate.
So that debate will be settled by my officer. My person who is a referee, I put there.
That
the result.
Your debate on a balanced debate. And that means that we are at a.
He declared it. If there are other means of validating it,
you are here.
Why don't we look at it?
You are here when Dennis had decided that he cannot remember things that happened between January and July or in June. He cannot remember. He has selective amnesia. He has decided to deliberately have memory loss of specific things and not others. Right? Even his current living reality, he has decided he cannot remember some of them. He remember what he wants. When prices of fuel is going down, he hasn't felt it. When prices of rice has gone down, he has not felt it. When people are reducing lorry fares, he has not felt it. He cannot remember that. And you want to tell me that an officer can remember something from 7th of January, and I should take the fact that someone just says this was 347 and not 374. We should take that as sacrosanct. Why did it, if that was acceptable, why was it not captured in our electoral rule? I am a member of the subsidiary legislation committee, the committee that approved our election constitutional instrument. He should tell me where in that constitutional instrument it is stated that where you cannot, I'm coming, where you cannot produce pink sheet, you should just come and rely on what an EC official can remember, or that where there is dispute, we should rely on scanned pink sheet of your opponent.
Let me show you. I have it. I will show you. Can I show
where
you?
Is it? Mention specific.
Oh, relax.
Because he's coming in on a point of information that he has the answer. He should just go straight. Let's see.
No, why? I come back. Relax. See, this is what the law is basically saying. But why? This is what the law is saying. You can only arrive at this point when the electoral commission is done with its work. The electoral commission finishes its work and you disagree. Then you decide not to sign the document that validates what the electoral commission has done. Then there are processes where you can now put your grievances across. You do not put your grievances across at this stage. That is basically what the law is saying. That you cannot prevent the electoral commission from doing its work. You do not have to agree with the electoral commission. But the law is clear. The electoral commission must collate the results. It is after they are done collating the results, then they can decide even on their own to say that based on A, B, C, D, this election is inconclusive.
Electoral commission cannot collate non-existent
I will
results.
allow you to do it to me because we are doing it to you.
Yes, you did it.
So you guess what I'm saying. So the law is there. Now at this point, my worry is that there is a party that is saying that we have gone to destroy pink sheets. It's on video.
I've not heard any party say that they are going to destroy.
This party has gone to destroy pink sheets. It's on video. And because they are aware, because they are aware that they have destroyed the pink sheet, they said even ours we cannot find because they know they've lost the elections. Then they say, if you don't stop the process now and redo it.
So where's yours?
No, they destroyed it at the center. They actually beat our guy up. It's a police matter right now. So all I am saying is this. Let the electoral commission exhaust the process. Otherwise, the danger is that in the next election, do you know what will happen? Every party will attempt to destroy pink sheets with the hope that once I am losing, let me destroy it and then I'll come and call for the electoral commission to stop and reorganize it. There was a deliberate strategy by the NDC. Let me tell you, in Abum North, and in several other constituencies, I've told you 8 to 8. When the electoral commission was transporting the ballot boxes to the collation center at the constituency location, they met most of them like 300 meters away from the center, took the ballot boxes, beat them, and destroyed them.
And where is it? The police is not aware of it.
The police were there, but it's part of the report.
Police not aware.
It is actually part of all the report. It's actually part of the report. So you don't go destroying ballot materials and then come and say that because I've destroyed ballot materials, we should redo the elections. What are you talking about?
Let me take a few messages, Dennis.
And only take your view.
No, it's in the report. Where is it? Why did the electoral commission bring the police bring all the ballot boxes to Accra?
Rexford Atin.
Why do you think they brought
Rexford Atunwe says has Dennis Rexford is talking to you. So has Dennis forgotten of Ayasu, West Wogon, Techiman South, Ododo, Damango, etc. As in relation to the violence. Eric Bayo says Professor is my countryman. Greetings to him, but always allow Dennis to make his point.
Yes, please. Thank you.
I like Dennis too much.
Thank you. Thank you. They are gagging me. Poor position. Look at
that. Can you be gagged? He said the professor doesn't know scan copies. You can always challenge the copies if you have other ones to base your argument on. And Chester says, miracles, Ghanaians are discerning. Now this propaganda won't fly.
No, propaganda gave you 41%.
Yes. So
and you are still doing the same propaganda.
Continue living in the
this edition of the program. My guest, Dennis Miracles Abuaji, who is like an octopus as always, and is Director of Communications 2024 Bamia campaign team, and Professor Titus Biwa, Member of Parliament for Lambusi, who has been my guest as well. Earlier, you heard a few other persons. This is how we conclude today's edition. My name is Solomon Adunu. Have a good afternoon.